new iPads are here. The new iPads are here. It's MacBreak Weekly, a special edition. This is the kind of a replay of our live coverage. Tom Merritt, me, Andy Ihnatko, Sarah Lane, Lisa Bettany. Let's get ready. The iPad 2 is on its way next.
Netcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is Twit.
Bandwidth for MacBreak Weekly is provided by Cachefly at CACHEFLY.com.
This is MacBreak Weekly, episode 236, recorded March 2nd, 2011, iPad 2. MacBreak Weekly is brought to you by GoToMeeting. Visiting contacts from New York to LA and Bangalore to London is time-consuming, expensive, stressful. Have your meetings online instead with GoToMeeting. For your free 30-day trial, visit gotomeeting.com/MacBreak. And by Audible.com. To download the free audiobook of your choice, go to audible.com/MacBreak. And by Squarespace.com, the fast and easy way to publish a high-quality website or blog. For a free 14-day trial, go to squarespace.com/MacBreak. Welcome to live coverage of Apple's March event. We believe the iPad 2 announcement. Leo Laporte here. Tom Merritt also here. In the field with us today at the announcement, Sarah Lane. Andy Ihnatko is in right now, the Yerba Buena Center for the Arts, where just a few minutes.
It's raining at the Yerba Buena Center.
Just a few minutes.
Yeah.
There's
there
Sarah
she
Lane.
is.
Hey, Sarah Lane. Hey.
Of course there is. We know that there's probably not going to be the Retina display, of course. So everyone, let's get used to that idea and don't expect it. But then there's some mumblings and grumblings. In the 11th hour last night, I know Business Insider was reporting on a possible social networking kind of an aspect of, the iPad and possibly iOS 4.3. I have no idea what any of that means, but I'm excited about it. I'm hoping that given Apple's somewhat tumultuous first quarter, in the workings of the company anyway, that, they come out with a bang. So we'll just have to see. I'll be following along with everybody else. I got my laptop and my iPad in my pocket. So do we know if we've got a live stream, or I'll just be refreshing Engadget like the rest of you. Leo, Tom, back to you guys.
Thank you, Sarah Lane. Sarah is at the Yerba Buena Center for the Arts. Sorry about that sound issue. We're going to start over again. Take two. Welcome to our live coverage of the March Apple event, what will most likely be an iPad 2, but we will find out in just a few minutes when Apple takes the stage in about 10 minutes. I'm Leo Laporte. Joining me right now, Tom Merritt.
Morning, Leo.
Out at the event at the Yerba Buena Center for the Arts in San Francisco, Sarah Lane and Andy Ihnatko, who has already gone in. Sarah doesn't want to be seen. Andy Ihnatko, who has already gone in, and we'll be covering it from the inside. We don't know yet if there's a live stream, but I don't think there is. Of course, we'll keep our eye peeled for that. And we also don't know exactly who's going to be live blogging, although I imagine it'll be the usual cast of characters, GD, GT, and Gadget, Gizmodo. Well, actually not Gizmodo, because they don't get invited to these events anymore.
Not anymore.
Not anymore.
Not since they went to the
dark side.
The beer garden.
Yeah. Andy is going to tweet from inside. Okay.
I'd say there's a 98% chance we're going to get an iPad 2 announcement. No, big question is, what is it going to be?
So what's your prediction?
My prediction is we'll get an iPad 2 announcement. It will be front and rear facing camera, slimmer, faster processor, maybe longer battery life, and available for pre-order immediately, but shipping in April. That's all guess.
Boy, I'd agree 100% with you.
There's no insider information there.
No. But I think it's completely reasonable. Don't expect a Retina display.
No Retina display.
Perhaps a higher resolution display, but I doubt it. I think you're going to see what Apple will call the A5, which will basically be that dual processor Cortex or ARM design. SD card slot? No. I don't think so.
That one I'd say there's
a
closer
chance.
to 50% chance, maybe 45% chance, but I don't think so.
Okay.
They don't like to do that.
Yeah.
But there have been some credible case manufacturers out there making cases with an SD card slot, but they could just be guessing.
Right.
They may not know at all. The question is whether we will get an iOS update. Will they talk about a new iOS? That might happen. Or will we get any teases on anything else, like an iPhone 5, anything like that? I think that's a small percentage chance, but we might hear something like that.
I've heard big rumors that the iOS 5, the next version of iOS, will have some substantial changes and some real usability enhancements. I've heard this from people who are on the inside who say, you ought to see it. I don't think you're going to see Thunderbolt in it. I don't think there's any reason for that. I think it'll still be a 30-pin connector USB.
Well, and I think when Thunderbolt is enabled on an iPad, it's going to be the 30-pin connector to Thunderbolt.
Right.
They're not going to get rid of that 30-pin
There's
connector.
no reason for a mini display port. Andy, we should say Andy Ihnatko is inside. Here's his picture from inside. This is exactly what it looked like at the initial Apple iPad announcement. In the front row are Apple dignitaries, officials, people like the board. Al Gore is on the Apple board. People like that will be in the front row. Apple usually stacks these audience with a number of Apple employees for the applause lines. You could see the journalists, those are the ones with the laptops, begin here in the third or fourth row. There's no laptops in the first few rows because those aren't journalists.
Right.
Those are Apple people.
Those are the people who clap.
Yep.
A lot of times people get confused. They're like, why are all the journalists applauding? That's not objective. It's not them. It's the employees.
Yeah, I always make a point of not applauding Steve's applause lines.
Most of journalists
we're there to be
will,
objective. Behind where Andy is standing right now to take this picture is a big row of cameras. So while Apple doesn't stream it live, and while I presumably don't allow it live streamed, although again I've never seen any restriction against that.
Well, when I was at
CNET,
we would ask every
well, there was your
time,
mistake.
Can we come do a live stream? And they would say, no, you can send a camera.
Right.
You can't stream it live.
They invite the cameras in, but only for taping for later use. Beatles music is playing right now. Not a surprise. Apple, I think, made a deal with the Beatles in order to get the Beatles on iTunes. So I'm not surprised to see that at all.
Pixar folks are there, according to Mac rumors or Macworld.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
So what blog do you want to follow?
I've got Macworld and Gadget open.
I'll see if Ryan Block's doing his GDGT.
Yeah, that's always a good one too.
Yeah. Before we go much further, though, I would like to thank our friends at GoToMeeting. GoToMeeting is the place to go. GoToMeeting.com to get the great online meeting software. GoToMeeting is the best. Most of us nowadays are working with people, clients, customers, colleagues, acquaintances that are spread out all over the country, all over the world. An app developer in New Mexico, an agency in New York, a project manager in London, a production company in L.A. or Ireland, your programmers in Bangalore, your assembly line in Taiwan. How do you meet with them? Well, you could fly there, and I know people do, but that's a lot of time, a lot of money, a lot of stress. Why not meet with them online with GoToMeeting? It's as good as an in-person meeting. They have a great iPad app, by the way. That means it's really simple. Even anywhere you can get Wi-Fi, even on the production floor, you can go down there and they can talk to you. You can have your meeting there. It's amazing. Everyone logs into GoToMeeting.com, even if they don't have the software. They get the software. It's about a minute later. They're ready for your meeting, which is good. You don't want clients to jump through hoops. Absolutely secure, Mac or PC. It's great for product reviews, for sales presentations, for training, for collaborating. I use it all the time. We have several accounts. It's just the best way. As John G. in our chat room says, GoToMeeting's the best way to do meetings, period. I agree. That's why I want you to try it free for 30 days. Go to GoToMeeting.com. GoToMeeting.com/MacBreak. Try it free for 30 days right now. I know you'll like it. We continue with our live coverage of the iPad 2 announcement. So we do have our camera live at the Yerba Buena Center for the Arts, where this announcement, as you can see, there's an apple and a lot of colored dots.
That means absolutely nothing.
It's pretty.
Yeah, it is. Well,
they do a different one every time.
It looks like a circus to me. The invitation that went out to the press had a calendar icon from iCal with the number 2
today,
which is today,
2nd.
March 2nd. But it could also mean iPad 2. And then it was peeled back a little, and you could see the iPad behind it. So it was a dead giveaway. They're going to talk about the iPad.
Some rumors that They might have a white iPad.
Oh, right.
We saw some pictures of white faces, but I don't know if I'd, for the device, but I don't know if I'd believe that.
I think that's a very low possibility. It's possible. We haven't even seen a white iPhone yet, though.
Right. So, how would they be able to do that? It looks like GT is not doing live coverage.
Johnny Ives is there. Jaws is there. Tim Cook, Phil Schiller. No sightings of Steve Jobs, though.
Jaws is Greg Joswiak, who is the OS 10 guy, right?
Yeah. And Josh Topolsky on the Engadget blog says he's just being Jaws.
Which is what?
I don't know. It's just Jaws being Jaws, man.
Well, I'll let you cover it with the Engadget blog. I'll probably do the Twitter thing.
The nice thing, that's a good idea. The nice thing about the Macworld blog is they've got Cover It Live going, so it just automatically refreshes.
That,
yeah. Engadget, you have to manually.
They're brave because last year at the iPad event, Cover It Live broke, and all the people who were doing live blogging at the iPad event last time.
I'm sure Macworld and CNET and everybody else who used Cover It Live got on the phone to Cover It Live and said, "Hey,
are you going to work?" Well, I don't think we'll see the excitement about iPad 2 that we saw about iPad 1. It was really an unknown quantity.
Yeah, this is the follow-up. This is the sequel. It's the sophomore year, and so we're not going to feel the same amount of excitement or expect a huge surprise, which is why I wonder if they won't spice this up somehow with a separate announcement, with something maybe teasing a new iOS at the very least. I doubt we'll see anything like an Apple TV or even an iPhone 5 tease. But you'd think they'd want to do something to make this more press-worthy than just, here's the next iPad. Because to me, that's something they could send out in a press release. Yeah, we got a front and rear-facing camera, and we got a new processor.
Right. We are going to start this thing in about 2 minutes. Apple usually starts on time. I mean, they're very rarely late. Right now, I understand they're playing Beatles music. Robert Scoble's
They
in
say
there.
they
He
want a
still gets
revolution.
invitations. They want a revolution.
Apparently, that's one of the songs.
And Sarah Lane is out in front of the event right now. Andy has gone inside, as we mentioned, but Sarah's outside, and she's going to snag people as they come out. I'm hoping they'll do a demo room. They usually do, and if we can, Andy will either Skype or FaceTime to us from the demo room. So I'm hoping that at the end of this event, an hour or an hour and a half from now, we will have the first real pictures of iPad 2. Because that would be awfully nice.
I'm keeping an eye on Apple's Apple Events page, apple.com/apple-events. That's where you have archived versions of all the previous announcements, and I don't see any indication they're going to be live
It's
streamed.
weird because they streamed the last two events, but I think that this event, I don't know, maybe they want to keep the excitement alive.
And maybe this is just a press conference. It's just an announcement, and they don't feel that this is a big enough event to warrant that.
That's not the case, of course. It's the biggest event Apple does after the iPhone event, right?
It is, yeah, absolutely. But if it's just iPad 2, with they may not want to oversell it.
Right.
Apple's very good at sensing how to build the hype to the peak pitch.
Right.
Nintendo announcement going on right next door, by the way. Satoru Iwata, the CEO of Nintendo.
Let's go to Sarah Lane. She's right out in front of the studio, and we can...
Well, I'm watching the Twit live stream, so it was kind of funny. I was just sitting there going, oh, look, it's Leo and Tom, and then I realized, oh, they're sort of tossing to me here. So we're still outside Yerba Buena. Right after we tossed back to the two of you gentlemen in the studio, an unnamed man, I have no idea who he is or what he knows, came up to Lynn and I and said, I just saw Steve Jobs pull up in an Aston Martin on the side of Yerba Buena right here.
Interesting.
He didn't seem too crazy, but then again, could have been a lie, not sure. That said, I did just see on Twitter that Ryan Block said he was kind of getting the feeling that Jobs was doing this thing. So if that's the case, I know it's going to make a lot of people happy, and I know everyone's sort of hoping that's the case because it means he's feeling up for it. But as far as I know, I'm kind of just following along outside of Yerba Buena. So there's an element of excitement because we're here. But I'm literally doing what I could be doing from anywhere. So I'm in the same boat as the rest of you. I hope there's a live stream. Oh, hey, look, I can see myself on the Twit app. Wow,
yes,
that's fun.
We're watching you, Sarah.
It's magic. It's like the future.
We see you.
All right, you guys, I think this thing is about to start, so I'm going to toss it back to you. Let's hope for some good news.
Thank you, Sarah Lane. She's at Yerba Buena Center, where the Center for the Arts, where Steve Jobs perhaps will take the stage. and talk about, we think, iPad 2. But again, anything's up for grabs. He might talk about OS X Lion.
Everyone knows Steve Jobs drives a Mercedes CL class, not an Aston Martin, though.
Right. I think it's BS.
But
we'll see.
That was BS. Whether he's there or not, I think we don't know.
Yeah.
But I think that guy was probably just full of it. Aston Martin. My Aston Martin.
My Aston Martin. Keeping an eye out for...
Oh, they've got a chair on stage, which
chair.
Jason Snell at Macworld points out is the same chair they used during the iPad launch last year.
It was a comfy chair.
Yeah.
An iPad sitting and using chair. Because they really want to emphasize...
they want the lean back sort of experience. Yeah. Well, Engadget's down.
You're kidding.
Well, it was down for a couple of refreshes. It's back now.
I wonder if... let me look at some of the other sites.
Ladies and gentlemen, our presentation will begin shortly. Please switch devices to silent mode. Has just come across the...
and I wonder, are
wire.
they saying stop using the Wi-Fi?
Please turn off your MiFis.
Yeah. That was a big problem, as most of you will remember.
Lights are dimming.
When they were doing the demo of... what was that a demo of? I don't even remember now.
Yeah, which one was that? Was that an iPhone? Where he asked everybody to turn off.
I remember Google having trouble at Google I/O. It was shortly after that. So
I think it was an iPhone because they wanted to
TV.
show 3G.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah,
it's funny how quickly we forget. It was it was FaceTime. That's right.
That's what it was.
It was. Thank you, chat room. Of course, the chat room knows. We're seeing Steve Jobs apparently.
We are.
That's what the stat room is. Steve is on stage, so a lot of
right.
applause for Steve Jobs. That is fantastic. Very glad to hear that.
I think it's a good way of showing that he's just on medical leave. He's not
right. It's
dying,
important.
You know,
Yeah,
he wants
important
to come out and say, "Hey, folks, I'm okay."
Yeah, I think that's fantastic.
Big applause, of course, he's getting. Standing O. Here Comes the Sun was the last song they played right before he came on.
Which one? Here Comes the Sun?
Yeah. And something great to announce today. Of course.
So for those of you who are watching on video, of course, look at Ars Technica also having difficulty keeping their live stream up. So
their live blog
up. Wow.
And Gadget's got a picture of Steve, and he looks like the last time we saw him, to me, in this picture.
It's interesting. There's so much interest in this that people just are bringing sites down right and left.
Starting out with iBooks. They always start with numbers, and they're talking about the number of books downloaded.
Huh. The iBook store. 17,000 new books coming to the iBook store from Random House. We heard that a couple of days ago. 100 million books.
2,500 publishers via iBook store. Does that include indies?
Yeah,
do you think?
Mostly.
I mean, like individuals.
Yeah, because not very few of the big boys are on there.
Over 100 million books downloaded.
Wow.
Yeah, Engadget's where I saw that picture.
I will get a picture of Steve up on the screen for you from Engadget.com. They are also live blogging.
And we are going to keep bringing you the stuff as it comes across, but it comes across in dribs and drabs in different amounts, and we're not getting a live stream this year. So if anybody finds one out there, by all means, put it in the chat room.
There are usually pirate live streams of some kind. Steve does look thin, but no different, as you said, from last year. If you can't watch the audio feed, maybe you have to go to work or you're at work and they don't want you watching video, we do have a live, I'm sorry, if you can't watch the video feed, we do have a live audio feed at twit.am. It requires an IceCast-compatible client like Winamp, that would work, or iTunes. Launch the URL twit.am/listen in most of those clients, and they'll automatically recognize the stream and begin it.
Few more numbers. 200 million accounts created for the 3 stores, iTunes, App Store, and iBooks, and a total of $2 billion has been paid out from the App Store to developers.
$2 billion with a B.
$2 billion, yeah. Steve says, a lot of people try to copy this. I think we're way ahead.
He says, we don't know Amazon's numbers, but we do believe we're bigger than Amazon even on this. And now the iPhone, an update on the iPhone. And by the way, it says lastly. Now, I don't know if that's Ars Technica or...
No, Macworld says that
Lastly,
too.
the
I think
iPhone.
lastly in these updates.
Before the big news.
And it's all good.
Yeah.
100 millionth iPhone. Person who bought the 100 millionth iPhone should have got a little party or something.
No kidding.
You are a 100 millionth customer. So my guess is we're going, and they've done this before, we're going to see Steve as MC, and he's going to hand it over to Tim Cook and Phil Schiller, and I think that's a great way to approach this.
And it's nice for Steve to bring the good news.
Yeah. And like these Apple
Here's the
announcements.
quote. Today we're here
very-
to talk about Apple's third post-PC blockbuster product. First was the iPod in 2001. I think you could fill in the gaps here. Second, of course, iPhone. And in 2010, the iPad. So it is an iPad announcement of some kind.
And they're pointing out the most of the revenue comes from post-PC products.
Yeah, and that really has changed the character, in my opinion, the character of Apple Computer. It's really become
Well, that's why they're
about
not
those.
called Apple Computer.
Yeah.
They dropped the computer name very significantly. But this is following the template. We get numbers at the beginning, and then we ease into some minor announcements and then a major announcement.
This is from Ars Technica's live feed. Steve Jobs on stage. Clint Eckert taking that picture for Ars.
He said magical, finally. Our most advanced technology in a magical and revolutionary device at an unbelievable price.
Makes me a little angry that Apple requires people to do this kind of third-hand live blogging. They're in effect streaming it live just by hand.
Yeah.
When Apple could have sent the video out. You know, they even have a slide here that says our most advanced technology in a magical and revolutionary
And
device.
he's poking fun. He's like, people laughed at us for using the word magical, but we think it is.
Now they're claiming 15 million iPads sold in 2010. That's a big number.
That is a big number. That's a huge
Three
number.
times what I predicted, and I thought I was being bullish.
I thought you were too.
Yeah.
I mean, at the time, I thought it was going to do better than most people thought, but I still didn't think it was going to do that well.
Yeah.
And I still wonder why. I mean, I use it for a lot of things, but I don't see it as a replacement. It's an incremental device that people have decided they need. They've sold more than any tablet PC ever. I think that was an easy.
That's a safe bet.
That was not a tall order.
Not a difficult thing. $9.5 billion in revenue, and Apple's most successful product ever, according to Steve Jobs.
And that, you know, for whatever reason, that is why Apple is where it is today, is because they have topped themselves. iPhone topped the iPod, and the iPad has now topped the iPhone.
Right. 90% market share, and Steve says competitors are flummoxed.
Well, that's because there wasn't anybody in the marketplace.
We're flummoxed.
Yeah.
That's a great word.
Yeah. Well, and they were, because everyone said nobody wants a tablet. Everyone's tried.
Well, they were
Microsoft
right.
has
For
been
10
hammering
years.
at this.
For 10 years.
How are you going to get people to buy a tablet?
Yeah. And you see him everywhere. Oh, now he's talking trash about the Samsung Galaxy Tab, apparently.
I saw that.
That's interesting. He never liked that 7-inch screen. Here's another picture of Steve. This is from the Engadget blog. 15 million iPads sold in 2010, more than every tablet PC ever sold. 9.5 billion in 2010, 90% market share. Competitors flummoxed. He actually put that on the slide. 65,000 iPad-specific apps. Now he's showing off some of the iPad-specific apps.
He's responding to a quote from Samsung that said, in terms of sellout, we believe it was quite small. Samsung disputed that later. And so, you know, you can take that as you will, whether it was mistranslated or misquoted or not.
It's interesting that Steve would feel even the need to mention a
Yeah, it is a
competitor.
little
Very
weird.
rarely does Steve do that. In fact, I can't think of another time where Steve has mentioned a competitor. That is not typical. Usually best not to mention them. It's just a free ad.
Yeah, exactly. And you end up probably looking worse than you would if you didn't.
Right.
Now he's going to show off some iPad apps.
Really. It strikes me as just very silly. I feel like we're doing a baseball game by telegraph. You know, it's just very silly that Apple require... Yeah. that Apple requires reporters to do this still silly stuff.
Well, that's why I was so pleased that they actually did stream the last couple, because I'm like, why wouldn't you?
Why wouldn't you?
If you're not going to let anybody else stream it yourself. That's perfect.
Lots more self-congratulatory prose coming from Steve. There's never been anything like this. We're launched with thousands of apps, incredible magical user interface. Our competitors trying to launch with at most 100 apps.
Oh, and he shows the honeycomb logo when he says
We're being
that.
generous here. You know, that's not strictly true.
That's a stretch. That's a spin.
Hundreds of Apple stores now, and that enables us to roll this technology out so fast. He's showing off the new Apple store in Chicago. They were built for moments like this. We have hundreds of Apple stores now. Without them, we wouldn't have been so successful. It is true that retail strategy has been a huge success for Apple.
And Microsoft quickly trying to copy it, rolling out stores in a lot of places right next to Apple stores.
He's now showing a self-congratulatory video.
Apparently it's not working, though.
About how the year of the 2010 was the year of the iPad.
What was the year of the rabbit? Was it the year of the iPad?
I don't know.
Oh, no, now's the year of the
Look at
rabbit.
this.
Last year
Look
was
at
the year
this.
of the
This is a honeycomb bee
Yeah, there
and
you
the
go.
number 100. I have to say, I am frankly a little surprised. It shows that he's actually stung by the success of Android.
By
I
the
would
bee.
say. Phil Schiller taking the stage. Oh no, I'm sorry.
He's
This
on
is
screen.
Phil on
He's on the
video.
video, yeah.
Okay. No one predicted this would be as successful as it's been. That's true.
In 10 years of retail, I've never seen anything like the launch of the iPad, says Ron Johnson. Actually, it's true.
It is true.
I mean,
we
because
were just saying that. Even we didn't expect.
You and I, being some of the more optimistic, didn't expect
Yeah.
it to be nearly as good. And most people just thought it was going to flop.
Dismissed it entirely. You're watching breaking news coverage of Apple's March event. Now we know an iPad announcement to come. Our breaking news coverage brought to you by our friends at Slingbox. Slingbox available at Best Buy and Amazon. And learn more at slingbox.com. Let you watch your TV anywhere, including on the iPad directly. We will go into MacBreak Weekly right after this. I'm hoping that Andy will get a chance to Skype us or FaceTime us from the demo room and be able to give us a first look at whatever new iPad is available.
And Gadget says, the gist of the video, the iPad is magical.
Yes. And revolutionary.
That's all you need to know.
Did I say revolutionary? I meant to say that.
We mean revolutionary.
Of course, when we say 15 million iPads sold, let's put that in context. As somebody, Web4970 in the chat room is pointing out, there were only 375 million PCs sold in that time. Of course, the iPad only had 9 months. So it would have been 20 million at that rate.
If you extrapolate. But still,
it's probably
that's
more than
one
all
computing device from one company.
Right. And it's probably more than all tablet PCs sold in the 10 years previous.
Oh, yeah.
Almost
I think
certainly.
that's a fairly safe guess.
Yeah.
They're just showing a lot of people using iPads now. It's a big celebratory iPad video. People in schools talking about the iPad in Chicago schools. Dan Morin at Macworld says, it's strange that none of the people in this video appear to use cases on their iPads.
I think the first thing Apple says is, can you take the iPad out of the case?
This is the laggy part for us in reporting when we don't have a stream to show you, because it's it's probably all very visual, so there's not a lot of information coming across.
Right. Our own Andy Ihnatko, as I mentioned, is in the talk right now. We can't talk to him directly because, of course, Apple forbids that, but or we presume forbids that. But we will talk to him immediately after, and I'm hoping we will get a stream, if Apple doesn't prevent us from doing that, from the demo room so we can see this magical and revolutionary device in action. Now the Salesforce CEO is on the video screen.
Yeah, they were showing a hospital, very sick people using iPads.
That's actually true. I mean, I think that's one of the big markets for iPads is people who don't like or wouldn't use traditional computers, including older people, kids, little kids, really little kids sometimes, people who are ill or bedridden. Rob's H in our chat room says, why don't you just call Andy and not say anything? I don't want to put Andy in the same position that I was in of getting banned for life. He has other outlets that he covers this for, including the Chicago Sun-Times.
And frankly, I've tried that with other people. When I worked at CNET, we're like, well, let's try this, and you can't get a good audio stream.
Can't hear much.
Yeah.
We'll just we'll live with Apple's restrictions.
They're, by the way, still in the video with, lots of good examples of iPad doing good works in schools and hospitals and working with autistic kids, stuff like that. Yeah, the Web 8544 points out one of the stills from the video shows what looked like a white iPad in a hospital. I think it may have just been
he had a cover.
Reflective or had a cover or something like that.
So let's see. It does look like somebody is streaming it on Quick, so I'm not going to mention that. We'll just see what we can get.
It looks like it's just a clip rather than the whole stream. Let me know if
that's how it would be. It is from the beginning. Okay.
Can you fast forward and get the?
Well, let's at least see. This is Steve Jobs taking the stage moments ago to a standing ovation. This might be one moment where I would be applauding and on my feet.
Yeah, because you're not applauding some journalistic announcement. It's good to see the guy up on his feet. Yeah.
And we got something great to announce today. Before we get to it, I've got a few updates.
This is, by the way, about 15 minutes old. This is a quick video that somebody has shot, so at least we can see. Yeah, so that's it.
Steve's back on stage now after the video. People are saying that video was actually very emotional.
Well, of course. Apple's brilliant at this.
By the way, 2011, year of the copycats, says Steve.
I like it. I like it. He's probably right. Not the year of the rabbit.
Yeah.
The year of the copycat. I think that's true. In fact, we saw that at CES. It was the tablet electronics show, as Kara Swisher.
Now, that's the kind of snarky you can get away with because it's just true.
Yeah.
Everybody is trying to copy that success.
Yeah. But Steve says, and now we're going to get to the meat of the matter. We aren't resting on our laurels. Engadget's now down, according to
Today, they're introducing iPad 2.
All right, so it is the name. We have a name, iPad 2.
All new design. Not tweaked, not marginal improvements, completely new design.
Designed to make your old iPad look obsolete.
We're not making this up. We're reading this off the blog.
No, that part I made up. First, it's faster, so we are getting a faster processor. That was to be expected. It's the A5, exactly as we called it, which will be based on the ARM A8 processor, probably a dual-core processor. Yep, dual-core. Be interested to see what they do with the GPU, because, of course, the Tegra 2 has the advantage of NVIDIA GPU hardware.
9 times faster graphics.
Really gone all out in the graphics. Twice the CPU speed, 9 times faster graphics. That's very interesting.
What is the graphics, though?
Same low power as the A4. So I'm looking at Ars Technica right now. Tom is looking at Engadget.
And Macworld.
And Macworld.
It's funny how they both, one of them seems to be faster and then the other one gets ahead. They kind of go back and forth.
Little shot at Motorola here. He says the first dual-core tablet to ship in volume. I mean, the Zoom is out. I don't know if it's shipping in volume. I don't know what that means. It's going to be a huge improvement. This is Jackie Cheng writing for Ars Technica right now. Dual-core processor, 2 times faster CPU, 9 times faster graphics, same low power as A4. I would have to disagree about, unless it comes out today, that it is not the first dual-core tablet to ship in volume. The Zoom is dual-core. Rear camera.
Rear and front. For video, says Steve. Also built-in gyroscope.
The back is still metal. Jackie's looking at it right now.
Everybody needs a gyroscope.
Gyroscope. Is that different from an accelerometer?
Well, it's the accelerometer. Gyroscope gives you 3D.
The compass.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But not 3D, but three-dimensional. Right. 3 dimensions.
Back and front camera, and dramatically thinner. And, of course, again, this is exactly what one would have predicted, one being you, Tom Merritt, based on the information we have, but also on what just makes sense for Apple.
Yeah.
1/3 the size of the iPad. Wow. No, I'm sorry. Take that back. 1/3 thinner.
That's
One
slightly
that
different.
makes more.
Yeah,
that makes a lot more sense, to be honest. 1/3 thinner.
1/3 the size would be a 7-inch.
Yeah.
Which we know is useless.
1/3 thinner is according to Steve Jobs, 1/3 thinner is about the most you could do. In fact,
Andy's got a live blog up too.
Does he?
At Ihnatko.com.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
8.8 millimeters thick. 8.8 millimeters thick. That is
Thinner than the iPhone 4.
Yep. Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to buy one. That's okay. You convinced me, Steve, right there on that one. There's the front-facing camera. There's the thinness. Wow. Now, they're doing the that little beveling that they do with the air to kind of make it appear thinner.
I like the way that feels, too, when you hold it.
I don't mind it.
1.3 pounds, so it's actually lighter.
Thinner and lighter. Front-facing camera, back-facing camera, A5 processor for dual-core.
The weight of the iPad has always been one of my issues in trying to hold it and read. I don't know that 0.2 pounds makes a lot of difference. Steve says it does.
Well, it's certainly a complaint that people who use the Kindle
Comes
still.
in 2 colors.
Maybe we do have a white.
We have a white iPad, black and white, shipping from day one. No wait for the white.
No wait for the white.
All right, so that was one I didn't think was going to come true.
That's kind of a surprise. Yeah. Nothing approaches this. Audience is laughing on the shipping from day one because they, of course, know that Apple also promised a white iPhone, which never shipped. Almost a year ago.
It's just hilarious that people care.
Right.
2 colors.
Do you really want a white? I don't know.
I don't know.
Here's a picture of it. White and black. I think
AT&T and Verizon from day one as well.
Good. That's big news. So Verizon does get iPad 2.
And the way he said it was there are models that work with. So we may not have a hybrid. We may have a CDMA
GSM
and a GSM.
Yeah. So there you have it. I don't detect a higher res display. But
hard to tell.
It's hard to tell.
No evidence of that.
No LTE. It will be 3G on Verizon only.
That makes sense.
Much like the iPhone.
Did not expect an LTE.
Now they're claiming the battery life will not be any shorter. Here's from Ars Technica.
I like adding all this stuff. Something has to give. You'd think it'd be battery life, but it's not. That is classic Steve
and it's
Jobs
still Steve talking. I want to point out, Steve is there. He's doing it. That's very same 10-hour battery life as before. Same 10-hour battery life as before. 1 month of standby. So
it hasn't lost. That's his way of saying that the battery hasn't lost anything to try to make that sound like a positive.
Right.
You actually have no improvement in that area.
So we're hearing now on our live breaking coverage of Apple's spring event at the Yerba Buena Center for the Arts. There is a new iPad 2, 1/3 thinner, a little bit lighter, dual-core processors, cameras front and back. Starting price, again, $499.
Look at that.
And that is also not unexpected.
So no price cut.
That's pretty typical. Apple doesn't usually drop the price.
It's going to be just as expensive as it was last year.
Yeah. And that'll be for the Wi-Fi device. There will be Verizon devices as well as AT&T.
16, 32, and 64 gig models.
Same memory configurations.
Yep.
People were hoping, I know, for more memory, but that frankly doesn't surprise me either. There's only so much NAND flash in the world that Apple can buy up.
I still don't think you need to buy the 3G versions.
I had this argument, and as people said, no, but we want to put movies and TV and... I'm sorry, you were talking about the not the memory size, but the 3G.
Yeah, I do agree with going with the big memory, but I don't think you need 3G.
Here are the price points in full. Wi-Fi goes from $499 to $699. Wi-Fi plus 3G, it's exactly the same as it was last year, $629 to $829. So you pay $120 premium for the 3G. So
shipping on March 11th.
There you go.
Wow. So a lot earlier than I expected.
There you go. That is 9 days from now. That's interesting. So presumably pre-order. Let me go to store.apple.com. I'm curious.
Yeah. It probably isn't up yet.
Don't all go there.
Yeah, exactly.
Nope. Still down.
Please turn off your browsers.
Don't all go there. But I have to say the thinness, the improved speed, and the cameras, especially video on the back, which the iPod Touch does it do video on the back? I think this is going to be dramatic. Now, if you've been saying, well, what about an iPad 1 price drop? They have already started clearing them out of the stores. I don't think you'll see iPad 1s. They discontinued them, and they were clearing out the stock over the last few days.
Shipping March 25th in non-U.S. countries like Australia, Canada, France, Germany, Japan, and UK.
Now he's moving on to accessories. So I think that is the full lineup.
Unless we get a one more thing. That's the big thing. Yeah. That's the big deal, yeah.
So they are going to do an A5 processor, presumably based on the new ARM, the dual-core ARM. They say they've improved graphics performance by how many times did they say?
9 times.
Significant improvement in graphics performance. No new configurations. Here's the countries, by the way, that Australia, Canada, France, Germany, and the UK will get it on the 25th.
I mean, he says it's entirely redesigned. Oh. Frankly, these look like incremental improvements.
Accessory cable that delivers HDMI mirrored video output. Now, if that's what I think it is, it means that we don't have to wait for an application to send data out the video port. We will be able to see 1080p. It works with all apps. That means you'll be able to basically broadcast your iPad. That is, I think, something we all wanted.
With a cable, yeah.
With a cable.
Absolutely.
Well, for instance, for our iPad Today show, that's going to be huge. I'll be able to show you the iPad finally. This is something that even the iPhone still doesn't do.
You can charge your iPad while using the cable, the HDMI cable.
This is great. Eileen, order one. We need them for iPad Today. There's a picture of the...
Although this is one of those things where it's like, why didn't they have the... there's no reason they couldn't have had this before. This isn't an advance in technology.
It might be a chipset issue.
Just a feature they added. $39 for that cable.
This is probably something that the new graphics card allows that wasn't allowed previously.
Makes it so that it doesn't
Certainly
hurt the battery
1080p is new. That it wasn't able to do 1080p before. You needed a better GPU. Probably a better CPU as well. Well, let's get the Wi-Fi. No, I don't want white.
What are smart covers?
Smart covers.
They said something about that. Must
there's
be the
a
next
smart
accessory.
cover. What is that? So there's the dongle.
That's the HDMI dongle?
That's the dongle, which gives you see a 30-pin connector and HDMI. It looks like full HDMI, not mini HDMI.
So you can charge it with that
charge
other
and
side.
watch.
Yeah.
That's great. That great. Actually, that really broadens the potential applications for... Is CNN live streaming this? Is that true?
Smart covers apparently are thinner than cases, so it allows you protection without adding weight to the product.
Oh, well, that's smart.
But there's a cover to cover the glass. It bends and folds around.
All right, there are some Ustream live streams now, so somebody else is going to get banned.
So this time they designed the cover, the case, they're calling it a cover, right alongside the iPad so that it isn't as bulky and weird. And it still works as a typing stand. Is that the announcement?
Oh, it's an ad. Great. Thank you, Google. Get out of there. Get out of there. He's got 6,000 viewers on this pirated live stream. And I'm sure Google's happy about them all watching.
It uses magnets. The new cover uses magnets to adhere to the iPad. Is that well, I guess it's flash memory. It doesn't matter. I always get weird about magnets around my
I don't like
computers.
magnets.
They grasp and auto-align, so it's always in perfect alignment.
Third-party case is always better anyway.
Oh, this is a guy.
Now, already tell
this
you
is
right
great.
Now, this is. They got the price point. They got
this guy is doing his own commentary with video that he's getting from somewhere else. Looks like he's getting it from Engadget.
Mm-hmm.
They're gonna have to meet that price point.
I love it.
So
Bravo! I don't know who that is. It's he's got more viewers than we do.
So
he's using Soldier Know Best.
He's using the images from Engadget.
I don't know what
it's not
he's
a
doing.
live video stream though.
I don't know what he's doing, but he's doing a better job than we are. Good for him. Let me see what else we can get. There is apparently another feed that Justin feed. CNN is feeding it live. I don't know how CNN's doing that. Maybe this is just one more attempt for Steve Jobs to screw me.
They're showing a video on how the third-party case works. So you're not missing a ton right now. Yeah.
Comes in polyurethane or leather. So this is something Apple's going to sell.
Yeah,
they made
their
so much money on their
case.
On their case last year, on their pathetic case.
I find it fine. I don't know why you hate it so much. I mean, it's not It's not. I'm not
It's
raving about it.
You're using it. It just seems
Yeah.
overpriced for a piece of rubber, but I
It
guess
is
now,
overpriced for a piece of rubber. I'll give you that. But that money's long gone.
And I don't like the weird edge.
But this thing that sticks out on the edge,
Yeah.
that thing.
What's that all about?
Yeah, it hurts my hand.
Yeah, I don't get that. The video is mostly showing a hand folding up and down the cover. They put more energy into the other video, I think. Okay. Smart cover. That's good. It's smart. It's a cover. Steve likes the video so much he says it's reminding him of a Pixar short.
Microfiber lining cleans the screen while it's closed.
That's smart.
That's actually very smart because that's one of the things people complain about the iPad is it gets so smudgy.
The magnets are in the iPad itself.
What? Really?
And there's magnets in the hinge of the smart cover. This is
snap
Apple
together?
saying, you're going to buy our cover.
Uh-huh.
You're going to buy our cover.
And the leather one will be more expensive than the polyurethane, which will also be overpriced. What have they named a price yet? Oh, here we go. Polyurethane, $39. Leather case, $69.
Yeah, it's a little overpriced. 5 poly colors, 5 leather colors. I always think blue leather is just an abomination, personally.
Well, you know you're going to go for the leather one, though.
Oh, yeah. I want brown leather. I want it to look like a cow.
We think people are going to love these cases.
Of course we do. And we're going to love you when you buy them.
Now we're talking about iOS 4.3.
That's okay. So there's some substance left.
So CNN's really got it live?
I can't bring it up.
On TV or on web?
There's a stream.
There's a stream.
Somebody, I mean, the chat room's claiming it, but I can't get it to
It's a swamped, I'm sure. So here comes Scott Forstall on the stage. He's going to talk about iOS 4.3, bringing enhancements and new features. That's cool.
CNN is a delayed, 15-minute delayed feed. That's probably what Apple is allowing.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Apple?
Yeah.
Really?
Really. It's like, I don't even understand. I can't even think of what the
Why
rationale.
would you?
I can't. I mean, they're sitting here making us do telegraph baseball.
Scott Forstall's coming out on stage.
Reenactment. This reenactment brought to you by our friends at Slingbox. As always with our breaking news coverage, Slingbox is the thing. You can watch your home TV on your iPad or your iPod Touch with Wi-Fi, laptop, any smartphone. Go to slingbox.com and find out more, and you can pick up a Slingbox at Best Buy and Amazon.com. We thank Slingbox for their support of our live news coverage.
They claim that iOS 4.3 will run JavaScript 2 times as fast as they've taken the Nitro JavaScript engine from OS X and moved it on to iOS.
All of your music, movies, TV shows that are stored in iTunes on your computer can be watched directly on your iOS device. Wireless streaming. I guess this is using AirPlay. I'm not sure.
It must be.
Wireless streaming over your home Wi-Fi network from your computer to your iPad, iPhone, and iPod Touch. That's actually pretty fantastic. This makes a great portable TV device. Now you'll be able to, you can watch Slingbox when you're on the road, but when you're at home, you can watch whatever's on your
So this is just like Apple
computer.
TV, right?
Yeah, basically turns it into an Apple TV, doesn't it?
That's pretty cool.
So you can go, it's really two-way. AirPlay gets iOS to your TV, and this is kind of reverse backwards AirPlay.
Yeah, right. Your iPad becomes a
Right.
television.
Right.
Just like with Slingbox app.
Yep. So we're going to bring Lisa Bettany in. She's here to join us for our MacBreak Weekly, which will begin soon. Actually, we'll probably begin MacBreak Weekly when Andy comes out, and if Andy can get into the demo room. So AirPlay, even better in iOS 4.3. If you're sharing photos, you can now use all of the cool built-in slideshow transitions from Apple TV on your iPad. Also now apps. Oh, this is big. Let me repeat that.
Yeah, say that again.
Apps and even websites can AirPlay video in addition to audio. Apps and even websites can AirPlay video. That means you could have a Hulu app AirPlaying to your TV from your iOS device. So this is, in effect, adding apps to the Apple TV, something we've wanted for some time. And with HDMI, this is really turning the iPad into a home theater PC. Very interesting.
So Al Jazeera English app, for instance, could just be transferred to my television.
Right.
and I can watch that.
Right.
BBC Radio app could go right to my speakers. That's
right.
stuff.
So this is very interesting. This is essentially adding apps to the Apple TV. I think that's it kind of explains why they didn't do that in the first place.
Right.
Now
You're just going to toss them across the network.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Personal Hotspot only works on iPhone 4, lets you share your iPhone's 3G connection over Wi-Fi to other devices. That was available in the Verizon iPhone.
Right.
So I think they're just saying that's coming to
AT&T finally.
all iPhone devices in iOS 4.3. Oh, you can now use the slider switch for mute or rotation. There will be a user settable preference in iOS 4.3. That doesn't sound like a big deal to anyone who doesn't use that. But if you do use it, I hated it when they took that away because I liked that lock, and I will definitely switch that back.
I kind of thought they'd do that.
And they've got new software to take advantage of the cameras on the iPad, starting with Photo Booth. That makes sense.
You're watching live coverage of Apple's announcement. And yes, it is an iPad 2. Just to recap, running a new A5 processor, dual-core processor with improved graphics performance as well. In fact, Steve says 9 times faster. Same battery life, same price point, but 1/3 thinner. It will come in white and black. It will be available March 11th in just a little more than a week. So this is, and now we're hearing some very interesting improvements with 4.3. Does he say when 4.3 will be available?
No, we haven't got that yet.
Lisa Bettany is now joining us in the studio. Hi, Lisa. It's great to see you. Well, I filled you in. I filled you in. Is that all?
I'm excited.
Yeah.
I'm really excited.
Cameras front and back, and they say video cameras. They didn't give us specs on the.
That is really, honestly, when the original iPad came out, I poo-pooed the iPad because it didn't have a camera. So I'm really excited to have that because I haven't been using it as much as I would if it had a camera. I'm just envisioning people taking pictures with it, though.
It's kind of bulky. I mean, I've taken pictures of the Samsung, and it's kind of weird.
Yeah, it's a little
It's like
bit...
a giant camera. It feels like a kid camera.
Yeah, right.
But to its advantage, you really can see what you're taking a picture of because it is a big screen.
Yeah, no, amazing, and obviously to be able to FaceTime, and I use Skype a lot using video, so that will be...
Scott's about to talk about FaceTime for the iPad. By the way, he says a photo booth is incredibly fun on the iPad too, and I guess so.
I bet.
It's fun on the Mac.
It's odd that he would think that.
But that makes sense. If you're going to put a camera in, of course you put photo booth on it.
FaceTime between 2 iPads, between an iPad and an iPhone, iPod Touch, between an iPad and a Mac. This is silly. This is like a Saturday Night Live skit.
Tom is using the new laptop, and they now call it the FaceTime HD camera, not the iSight anymore. And it's much higher resolution. It'll now do 720p.
Right.
So if you're FaceTiming with somebody from the new MacBook to somebody with equivalent capabilities, you should get much better video quality. Have you tried it yet?
I haven't tried it. I haven't had a chance to try it because I just launched it this morning and finished the data transfer.
Oh, look,
There's
photo booth.
Mic right up there.
Yawn.
I just noticed the mic is up by the camera.
Well, that's where it should be, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Scott Forstall demonstrating. This is now. I'm not sure. I'm not clear if this is 4.3 he's demoing or this is now gone back to the.
This is new software to take advantage of the camera. So they're back into the iPad.
Will the
world.
iPad ship with 4.3? I guess it will.
They haven't made that clear yet.
No.
And I don't know if this stuff comes on iPad or if it's apps that they'll be making available to the App Store.
I think the huge deal to have this AirPlay sharing apps, video back, the HDMI cable, I think turns this in some ways into a home theater iPad. You can, and that's why you can charge with the HDMI cable. They announced a $30 HDMI cable that mirrors the display, so anything that's going on in your iPad will be seen on your TV. It'll charge at the same time as you've got the HDMI hooked up, so that means you sit it next to the TV. This almost is Apple TV. You can run apps. Of course, you won't be able to control it. You'd have to actually kind of reach for it and have a cable lead.
Well, that would be your remote control.
I guess, yeah.
It's a very expensive remote control.
Yes.
But it has to be connected. You know,
Only
it's not,
$500.
It's
Yeah.
not wireless.
It's like,
So were you surprised that the price didn't go down?
yeah. I'm not
No.
shocked.
Apple always does this. This is exactly what they do. They improve. They've done this from time immemorial. They keep the price the same. They give you more bang for your buck.
I wouldn't say surprised, but disappointed.
Yeah, a little bit.
You thought maybe competition from the tablets was going to drive that price down? I just didn't see that.
Let's
happening.
put it as hope rather than thought.
Yeah, Apple doesn't work that
Apple
way.
does
4.3 will
whatever
come
they
out March 11th with concurrent with the new iPad.
It's exciting.
So that means presumably they'll push it out to the iPhone because some of these improvements were iPhone specific.
Supports all iPads, iPhone, and 3rd and 4th generation iPod Touches. He said iPhone GSM, though.
Free download March 11th. Oh, that's interesting. Supports iPad, GSM iPhone, and iPhone 3GS and 3rd and 4th generation Touch. That means no Verizon update. Oh, dear.
But Verizon already has some of those features, but that's weird that it's off-cycle. I don't like that.
Oh, dear. More. Steve has come back on stage now. Scott Forstall leaving the stage, and he's going to show some more apps, some new apps.
Steve.
iMovie for iPad.
Oh, of course.
Now that's a great product. That
Yeah,
I would
finally, like that. The iPhone version, not
it's a little
so
hard to
much.
use, but still cool that you could do it.
Yeah, very cool.
But if you have a bigger screen, you can do some actual editing.
So Photo Booth and FaceTime come with iOS 4.3. It sounds like
Yes,
the way they're presenting this. Is that right?
I'm getting in line. Actually, I have to say this. There's enough significant improvements. The camera, the software.
oh, the camera.
The fact that it mirrors.
iMovie is apparently coming independently of iOS.
Yeah, they'll charge $5 or whatever.
I can see a lot of new apps springing up, like photo booth type apps,
Right.
taking a daily shot of yourself, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
People are
Well, that's
really,
what you're doing with mostly 365, right? Is
kind of, yeah. And it's not self
Of yourself,
portraits. I
it's
see
daily
a
photo.
lot more self portraits. I see a lot more of that kind of thing happening. I don't know. I'm wondering how people are going to use this as an actual camera.
I think it's more for video conferencing and that sort of
Yeah.
thing.
Well,
More-
one thing we
that
don't know
seems like
yet
it's
is what the
easier.
resolution of the camera is, what the capabilities are, whether it'll shoot 720p video. But if it shoots 720p video, which I'm guessing it's going to, that makes it a very interesting product.
Yeah, it does. I mean, definitely the limitations of the front-facing camera on the iPhone has been something I've been pretty disappointed in. But if they've done something to improve that, and then obviously we have like iPhone 5 like hot on the tail of this, so it'll be interesting to see what this brings out.
New UI for iMovie on the iPad. That makes sense. Might as well take advantage of that screen real estate. When you launch it, it comes up in poster format, movie poster format with thumbnails. They will update it for the iPhone 4 and iPod Touch as well. The interface is
It's a
in
universal app.
Yeah, timeline down below.
Randy Ubios, chief architect of video, is on stage right now talking about this.
So iPad 2, March 11th. Concurrent with that, a free update for all iOS devices to 4.3 with some interesting new features, including kind of two-way AirPlay. So now you'll be able to broadcast app video to your television, which means presumably if you had Hulu Plus on your iPad or iPhone,
yay.
you'd be able to put that on
Yeah.
I need a TV.
Well,
TV.
you know what that's
Yeah.
going to be, though? It's going to be app by app. Each
Right.
app can,
And
and
you'll-
Hulu won't activate that. Hulu will.
They could probably disable it, sure.
They'll probably say, "I'm not going to allow that with this app,"
Right, yeah, no, they do that.
because that's the whole point of Hulu Plus is it's mobile, not big screen.
Not your TV. Even if I'm paying $8 a month. huh?
Yes, I know. Isn't that ridiculous? But I'm just guessing that.
Still getting a demo right now of the new iMovie for iPad and iPhone. There's a precision editor, which it does need, of course, with Pinch. Full control over transitions. Tap on a clip, you get handles to choose a segment of the clip you want to include. There's a camera button on the right that lets you use the iPad 2's camera to record real time, or you can pull it
That's
from.
cool.
That's right into the
That is
iMovie, just
really
like
cool.
iMovie on the desktop.
I think it's just going to allow a lot more people to make their own little movies. I see it sort of like popping up a lot more on Facebook, like friends that aren't necessarily, video people or photography people, like just putting up like little clips, like actually creating little videos. Do you have a funny story?
It's gonna be weird though to be holding up this like, all right, let's shoot the video now.
Is it what are the dimensions? Is it a lot smaller? Is it like a little bit?
It's thinner,
but the same
one
size.
One third thinner, same size, same memory capabilities. Just faster though, and I think a lot of this comes from the faster processor, the better GPU, that kind of thing. How does that feel?
It feels weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, feels a little weird. They're definitely pitching this as the big use case for the iPad 2, which is the camera, the ability to shoot video, the ability to share video, edit video, because they're spending quite a bit of time on iMovie to show you all of the ways that you can take best advantage of these cameras.
I don't think, and chat room, if you've seen it, we haven't seen specs on the camera's resolution or capabilities.
I went back through, kind of scrolled back through to see if they had implied it even in anything, and I haven't.
4:3, by the way, right? They haven't changed the aspect ratio,
no,
so that's a little weird as well. You'll be editing in 4:3.
Well, I mean, when you're doing that type of video editing, I mean, I guess it'd be nice to have 16:9.
Some of these pictures look like they might be 16:9 that they're showing in the iMovie demo.
Voiceover recording system, so you could do your own audio tracks. That's kind of cool.
Scroll back to the beginning here, and I'm going to bring up my project settings, and we'll switch to one of my other new themes called Neon. It's a really bold theme. We've got this faded out to black as well. When I tap away, you can see the really nice, bold opening title that we have. We also have a great theme transition, really nice lower thirds. The music automatically switched when I switched themes, which is the default, but I can mix and match. So I can go back to my audio bin, I can choose a song from my iTunes library.
This is somebody sitting exactly where I was sitting.
This is someone who is experiencing their last invitation.
Yeah.
And easy as that to change the music.
And you can hear his voice kind of talking in the background.
Doesn't that look 16:9?
Come back out to the marquee. You'll notice that the poster frame
hard to tell.
Yeah.
like the neon theme that we switched to. I can use the share button.
Have you used iMovie at all on the iPhone?
I have. It's very tough to use. It's such a small interface that it's really tough. But I haven't done anything major with it. There are people making movies with it. I mean, you can't.
I know. I've seen like it crops up on Vimeo. Like people are doing amazing things, like even processing their iPhone movies with like Red Bullet and other cool like FX
That's crazy.
stuff. And it's crazy that,
really
that this is possible. I mean, I take a lot of video just out and about, but I never actually do anything with it. And I think that if I did have it on the iPad, I might be more inclined to do so.
I think that's very intriguing.
They're going to allow you to share. The share button lets you send to YouTube, Facebook, Vimeo, CNN, and iTunes. So you can publish right in and start selling your videos, your vacation videos.
And that is the new version of iMovie on the iPad 2.
There we go.
You fool! I don't know who that is, but I'm not gonna aid and abet. His stream just died, by the way. Probably as the Apple people rushed over and grabbed it from him. It's just frozen right there.
Steve's back on stage. Says that's not Steve, but that's
okay. I don't know who it is either. I'm sure, but I feel for him because I know exactly what's going on right now. Let's refresh that Apple Store, see if we can buy it yet. I imagine it'll come back up immediately.
Are they going to withhold the white one for
They say the
year?
same time. Both of them, and he got a big laugh when Steve Jobs said that. He said both available at launch.
I'll believe it when I see it.
Would you buy a white one?
I like black electronics.
Yeah, me
honestly,
too.
I'm a bit of a boy. I like steel, and I like
No, I'm with you. I think white's just weird looking. Maybe for doctors.
But the chicks dig it.
Lisa Bettany, apparently not a chick.
That's what she just said. iMovie, $5, available March 11th in the App Store. for the unified app. And next up is GarageBand for iPhone. For iPad. I mean.
I think that's a real opportunity as well to do some really interesting stuff.
Well, now this is interesting because if I can connect a decent mic.
8-track recording and mixing, 250 plus loops. Of course, you can record attach a good mic. We, in fact, were able to attach good mics using the USB adapter. Seemed like a loophole in Apple's adapter, but maybe it wasn't. Maybe that's just the beginning.
And then you can do podcasting with your iPad out on the go.
Compatible with the Mac version. You can email AACs right off the iPad. Let's get the Verizon version of this. I don't know what I'm saying.
The Verizon version of the iPad?
Eileen, just tie me to the mast, and no matter what I say, do not let me press buy. Okay? Just tie me to the mast. It's not a time.
No matter how much he begs.
No matter how much I beg, do not let me press the buy button. I can build, I can spec, but do not let me press the buy button. Touch instruments, grand piano, organ, guitar, drum, bass. This actually sounds fantastic. Guitar, amps, and effects, 8-track recording and mixing. Obviously, that probably means overdubbing, right? I don't know how you do 8-track recording into the... Well, maybe you could. 250 plus loops. Very
I hope they got some new loops, because I'll be honest.
Yeah. Well, they've been selling loops for a long time.
You start to hear those everywhere.
Yeah.
I do, and you hear them everywhere.
Yeah.
Like in actual movies, and I'm like, guys, I know what you're doing.
They really should buy some commercial loops. Don't use the free stuff. You can tap the keys just like a real piano. There's a button for a sustain pedal.
Wow.
That's cool.
You play the piano. You play the guitar.
I play the guitar, yeah.
You could strum your iPad.
I've tried that with the iPhone. The whole
yeah.
It's impossible.
It's a little weird.
It's like
well, you don't get the feedback you need, right?
Yeah, it doesn't. Yeah,
play the piano with real dynamics. I don't know how that would be since it doesn't have pressure sensitivity. I guess you can sustain by holding.
Well,
the
you
key.
tap it softly for quiet notes, harder for louder. So
but that would
the
require
dynamic
pressure.
Is your finger.
Oh, it's how fat the finger is.
Yeah.
That's actually somebody did simulate pressure on the iPad by exactly that.
They use the accelerometer to measure the force of the tap.
Oh, okay.
Cool.
So hit it hard.
Yeah.
Interesting. That's a very interesting approach. All right, coming up in just a little bit, we will continue with our coverage, our live coverage of the iPad 2 announcement. Ihnatko, who's inside, I believe will be coming out. Sarah Lane is waiting for him to tell us what he thinks, and then going off to the demo room. So he can get some hands-on with the new iPad 2. But before we go there, I do want to mention our friends at Audible.com. We love Audible. Audible's the place to go for 75,000 books and all kinds. Now, I want you to get the subscription. You get the gold account. That's a book a month. Not nearly enough in the long run, but it will get you started. First book is free because you get your first month free. So this is for you, Lisa. So if you want to, let's pick something that will help Lisa sleep.
Yes.
Something sleepifying.
The problem is I really enjoy thrillers.
Oh, you'd like this. Okay.
Yeah.
Tim Curry. You know who that is? Frankenfurter. He's the guy who did, anyway. Let me play you some. He recorded "Journey to the Center of the Earth," which is the classic Jules Verne sci-fi. Let me just play you a little bit of Tim Curry. This I think.
Do you remember a visit to Humphrey?
Oh, that woke me up. That's terrible.
Celebrated chemist paid me in 1825. Not the least, since I only came into the world 19 years afterwards.
Oh, I like that. He's not doing Frankenfurter. He's not a sweet transvestite. Let's see. Something to put Lisa to sleep. If you go to Audible, see, this is the hard part, is you go to audible.com/MacBreak and sign up for that account. Your first one's free. Oh, here, this is good. This will put you to sleep. I listened to this. It's the Dalai Lama. How to be compassionate.
Oh, okay.
Compassion always puts
not the zombie thriller I was hoping for.
They do have and correct them for a better future. He begins by explaining how caring for others.
Okay, that's not good. You want zombies?
Yeah, I like zombies.
Did you read Pride and Prejudice and Zombies?
No, I haven't. I
Oh.
Is it good?
Yeah. Because it's Jane Austen, so it's very sleepifying. Plus zombies.
Anything that mixes zombies in there, I'm like.
There's so many good
that.
zombie books on here. There's World War Z, an oral history of the zombie war. You've read that, right? Here's Pride and Prejudice and Zombies. Now with ultra-violent zombie mayhem. Listen to this. You're going to love Catherine Kelgren reads this, and she's so good. She's so British.
On Mr. Bingley. He had always intended to visit him, though to the last always assuring his wife that he should not go.
You're getting sleepy,
Until
aren't
the
you?
evening after the visit was paid, she had no knowledge of it. It was then
Oh yeah, it is
in the
sleepy.
following manner.
It's like Mom reading to you.
Daughter employed in carving the
Yeah.
bent crest in the handle of a new
Yeah, that
sword.
is sleepy.
He
Yeah.
suddenly addressed her with,
Hey, feeling better already?
Yeah, I'm feeling good.
I want you to check it out, audible.com. We're going to get Lisa an account. You get your account. Your first one's free. I think Pride and Prejudice and Zombies would be great if you haven't read that yet. Maybe Exploring the Center of the Earth with Tim Curry. There's so many great choices. Audible.com/MacBreak. It plays on your new iPad, plays on your old iPad, your iPhone, all the iPods, all the Zunes even. Not, it's not a bad thing to dedicate a device to your books. Like I have one iPod that's just got all my books on it. Then that's my book iPod, and I keep that in the car. Audible.com/MacBreak. We love them. We know you will too. Give them a try today.
Apparently, if you go to apple.com/iPad, they've updated it for the new one.
Oh, let me do that.
Hot diggity.
Now, you got to tell me that stuff before you tell them in public.
Yeah, I know. I'm sorry.
No, it worked. It worked.
Yeah, it came up for me too.
Yeah, that's good.
And there's that how to buy button that you're not allowed to press.
Less in your hand, more. Let's see if we get those specs for the camera here. Learn more about the
10-hour
cameras.
battery.
Yep.
Honestly, the battery is so amazing on the iPad.
Yeah, they didn't improve the battery, but
as long as they don't reduce
that's
it.
not a big deal. Yeah.
Still looking for specs. This is just all the crap
the white
they're
one
going to
looks
put
so
on there.
different.
Let's look at tech specs. 7.31 inches, 9.5 front camera. Back camera is a little bit offset, right under the on-off button. The front-facing camera is right in the center, as it should be.
Here's a little bit of a scoop. You can buy iPad 2 at your favorite Apple retail store starting at 5 p.m. on March 11th.
I guess we'll be there, March 11th.
So the evening launch instead of a morning launch.
That's much nicer
okay.
for us night owl people.
Yeah, right.
Because
I know.
honestly, I have not made a launch in a very long time.
We're trying to get a schedule for Mostly Photo, and Lisa won't do an 11 a.m. show because it's too early. When do you get up?
I'm up all night.
She's on Hawaiian time.
We had a conference call with her at 3 in the afternoon the other day. She was still in her jammies. I know. I'm sorry. I'm revealing your secrets.
I'm a night owl.
That's okay. 9.7-inch display, still 1024 by 768, so still 4.3. 1 gigahertz dual-core A5 custom chip. All right, here we go. Yes, 720p HD recording, 30 frames a second with audio.
Wow. Not bad.
Still camera has a 5x digital zoom, front recording VGA. That's about what you'd expect.
Right.
They don't say what the resolution of the back camera is, but if it can shoot 720p, that's good.
And 30 frames per second is pretty decent, too.
Interesting. 3-axis gyro. That's new. Accelerometer, ambient light sensor, digital compass. Won't have a GPS unless you buy the 3G model. Here's a picture of the GarageBand keyboard.
Yeah, they're still talking about that.
That's interesting.
Why do you say that?
Not having, because I mean, the whole thing with sharing pictures now is that you have the GPS and you're sharing your location and you're checking in and.
Well, that's the way, but that's the way the old one was too.
Ooh, virtual drum kits, too.
So now you can play like Keith Moon.
Well, except for being dead.
I don't know about this white one. It looks.
Or John Bonham.
Is that who you would like to play like?
Nothing yet on this website about whether you can reserve
video mirroring and video out support. I think this is one of the most interesting parts of the story is that you can finally mirror the display at 1080p if you're playing back high-def videos. You do have to buy a special cable. Video out supports 576p and 480p with the Apple component cable, 576 and 480i with the Apple composite cable. That's what you'd expect. H.264 video, 720p, 30 frames a second. Playback. Now, I don't know what it records in. I would guess, I don't know. Doesn't say what it records in.
Well, the camera's capable of 720p.
30 frames. Could be H.dot. It could be, well, they could be MJPEG. Sometimes they use that, too.
I wonder if there will be one more thing.
Smart instruments allow you to be musical even if you've never played an instrument in your life.
Thank God, because I need a smart instrument.
Smart guitar, pre-picks
Look at
guitar
that,
chords.
That would be fun to tap your iPad.
Yeah.
That would be fun.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, he just said campfires will never be the same.
Oh dear.
This is about the acoustic guitar.
Please, do not bring your iPad to campouts. Please, I beg of you.
This is a public service announcement.
Yeah. Please.
Well, we are getting a perfectly normal Apple announcement.
It's precisely what we expected. The thing that's interesting and that was unexpected is that it's Steve Jobs doing it.
And Lisa, you brought up the pertinent question at this point. Will there be one more thing?
Will there be one more thing?
Steve likes the one more thing.
Any guesses?
My guess is there will not.
Yeah, I'm guessing not.
But we'll see.
Because I can't think of anything that would make sense for them to come out and.
He could mention the iPhone 5, I suppose. I don't see any reason to do that now. It won't be out for a few months. He could say iPad 3 this fall. That would be bad because it would cannibalize sales.
That's kind of his style, the unexpected.
I got one for you.
Oh, yeah?
T-Mobile and Sprint iPhone.
There you go.
What do you think?
Well,
no.
Or T-Mobile and Sprint.
If he were going to do that, he would have announced the iPad.
T-Mobile and Sprint iPads.
Well, no, he's not going to do that after the fact. So, Lisa, you think you could play that?
Yeah.
Strum that?
I can maybe strum that.
Strum or not.
It's probably a disadvantage if you know how to play an instrument, to be honest. Because it's just going to confuse the hell out of you.
But it's like people, when you try to play Rock Band, if you actually know what you're doing,
I know,
you're at a
it's
disadvantage.
So
I find that
You're
on
like,
drums.
Oh, I can't.
Where's the high?
Yeah.
It's a little bit like that with Connect and dancing, too. Like,
See, I wouldn't know that.
The dancing in Connect is so like...
According to Connect, I'm an amazing dancer.
Yeah, me too. Because I can do... You know, I mean, it's just... You're right. It's not dancing. I don't know what it is exactly, but it's not dancing. It's jazzercise.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe that's what it is.
Jackie Sorensen's aerobic dancing.
You're watching live coverage of Apple's iPad 2 announcement from Slingbox. We're going to start MacBreak Weekly in just a little bit. I have a feeling they're about to wrap up. Andy Ihnatko will go to the demo room immediately. We'll try to get live video from the demo room so that we can see this in action for the first time.
I want to touch it.
Given that it's coming out in just 9 days, March 11th availability once again.
Supports up to 8 tracks.
I'd be shocked if they didn't have it in a demo room for everybody to play with.
Trim and drag the region to layer the song. Sports up to 8 tracks. Still talking about GarageBand. They said they're going to talk about 2 more apps. They talked about iMovie. They're talking about GarageBand. So we expect after this, they'll probably wrap it up. They were talking about GarageBand for quite a while. I have to say.
Do you use GarageBand?
Never.
You know, my son, who really is into making this kind of music, did. But found it frustrating after a while, so I gave him a copy of Logic Express, and he uses that. So, and Reason. So I think that it's a great starting point, but he quickly became frustrated with the limitations of GarageBand, and so he's much happier with Logic Express.
I actually use GarageBand all the time to do voiceovers.
Yeah.
So I do
Really?
voiceovers in all my
You do
videos.
recordings that way.
Yeah, I just plug in like a USB mic
Right.
and then just record it.
It's fine for that.
Yeah, and I don't
Yeah,
need
sure.
I don't need anything fancy.
There are plenty of other choices, though. There's Felt Tips Sound Studio. There's Amadeus Pro. There's, of course, Audacity. So there are lots of choices for something like that.
There's a built-in mixing board. They're still talking about GarageBand.
They love it.
Swipe over track icons to get
I
your
could see
mixing.
Henry using this for kind of ad hoc, dubstep mix downs.
Yeah.
I think it's the younger generation that's just sort of like using these tools to, make their YouTube videos and do that kind of thing. It's a good start. Like all the iLife sort of software, that's what it's good for.
It's a starting point.
It's a starting point, yeah.
One thing that's very gratifying to me is that it is more and more, when the iPad came out, I was really of the opinion, and I never really changed, that it was a consumption device more than a creation device. Yeah, you could create, but it was hard work. You had to really kind of mess with it to use, Pages or Keynote or numbers. But now I think with the camera, with these programs, it is much more of a content creation device. Apple's moving it more into that computer space and less into that read-only space.
They say you'll be able to plug in your guitar to the iPad.
Wow.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
Yeah, see, now you use that, right?
Now I'd use it,
You can record your voice and your guitar.
You can email songs or send it to your iTunes library, and then it'll sync into iTunes.
Wow. I guess.
I really can't believe how long they're talking about GarageBand.
Wow.
I guess.
Steve's back on stage.
Hey, Steve.
You know what? He's blown away by this stuff.
No.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, it's about time, because if he weren't, I think it'd just be sad.
It would be really sad if he came up and goes, that one wasn't so good.
I'm less than impressed.
Go back and try it again.
Yeah. You're fired. You're all fired.
Oh, that's during South by Southwest.
What? Yeah, March 11th? Well, we'll get it, because that's the Friday. Oh, you're right. I'm on a plane.
I know. I'm on a plane.
Son of a bee.
What is wrong with you, Apple?
Don't you know? We'll all be at South by Southwest.
Am I on a plane, Eileen?
I'll overpay for cases, cables, and products.
We leave the 12th?
But why do you make me overpay on a day when I'm flying?
We leave that evening. Well, that's when it goes on sale.
5 p.m.
Oh, no, you'll be...
I'm on a plane exactly then. Oh, we can stop on the way.
I think your flight's at 4.
Is there an Apple store in Austin?
Yes.
It's going to be busy.
Yes, it is.
That's all I can say.
Actually, there's
Lisa,
a couple. There's a couple.
Let's go to the Apple store in Austin.
Yeah, let's do it.
Field trip. We got the live view.
Yeah.
Are we doing anything Friday? Nope. All right. We're going to give you live coverage from Austin, Texas of the iPad 2 launch. Lisa Bettany, Tom Merritt, and I will be there.
Absolutely.
Right? Well, you get in at like 9.
Oh, crap.
Well, they haven't said that yet. We just found the 5 p.m. thing on the website. So.
I'll be there.
Somebody in the chat room is saying, this is boring. Can you put security now on?
Wow.
That's hardcore.
We're bantering.
That's
They've been talking about GarageBand.
Yeah. There's 40,000 people watching this?
Well, thing
Should
is,
we do a dance?
it is kind of boring right now because that's all they were talking about. Okay, now they're doing the recap. iPad 2 recap, faster, lighter, thinner, cameras, gyro, iOS 4.3 with FaceTime and photo booth, iMovie and GarageBand available for $5 each, over 65,000 apps, 3G on AT&T and Verizon.
You're so good.
From day one.
You're so good.
Same 10-hour battery life, same prices, starting at $4.99. Black and white, smart covers. We think 2011 is going to be the year of iPad 2.
I'm going to go to the live view camera in just a moment, as soon as they decide to put it down. Right now, it's kind of, we're at Urban Boy.
Whoa!
We're at Urban Boy.
Now, there's some excitement for you.
I like
a
your
lot of
shoes,
vans
sir.
out there.
They're playing a video on stage of the
hipster
iPad.
feet. We're getting the hipster feet view in San Francisco. We're right out front of the Yerba Buena.
I saw some Chucks.
Center
I saw
for the
some
Arts.
Vans.
Wait,
Yeah.
one more thing?
Oh,
Is there
there's
one
a-
more thing?
Yeah, they're playing a video, so they'll play the video and they'll come back and they'll either say goodbye or do one more thing. I think that's all we've got left. Or John Mayer will appear.
Oh,
Or
God.
Jack Johnson.
Hello.
Who knows? They did talk a lot about GarageBand, so we might get a musician.
Jonathan Ive in the video, how amazingly mind-blowing the new design is. I did it, and it's blowing my mind. Imagine how you'll feel.
I'm Jonathan Ives. I'm not even allowed in England, and it's blowing my mind.
It's just blowing my mind. When I woke up and I designed it, I was blown. All right, meanwhile, back to the Center for the Arts. It's this door that people will come out of when this is over. Yes, we have it. We have it first. This door, people will come out of this door in moments. Let's expand the focus. What do you say?
This very door. The Yerba Buena Center for the Arts door.
I'm standing in front of the door at the Yerba Buena Center for the Arts, where Johnny Ives is about to be blown away.
Out the door.
Out the door. That's the demo room?
Oh, sorry.
There it is. There's the camera you've all been waiting for.
There
Actually,
it
it's
is.
just a big hole in the back. Rigid, sturdy, even more precise. God, it's hard not to make a dirty joke there. Sorry, Lisa.
Let's
You
go back to
deserve
that
better.
revolutionary magical door.
Here's the door, out of which the iPad 2 will emerge. There's Sarah Lane. Look, you see her dodo case? You can't miss it, can you?
Yeah, I know. It's like a beacon.
She's watching us. In about 10 minutes, she's going to jump up and down saying, I'm on camera, I'm on camera. There's a bit.
She'll wave. That's my guess.
People emerging. People
Does
are
he
emerging.
have an iPad too?
No.
Strangely dressed hipsters emerging from door at Urban Buena Center. This just in.
Man in a suit wears tennis shoes. Flash.
I bet he's off to Samovar Tea Room. Just a guess.
Yeah, probably. Or B-Bar. Yep. That's about the size of it. Well, they're playing the video on stage right now, so there's nothing to talk about.
Yep, Apple.com. We do have those tech specs for the new iPad. Just to recap, same size, same screen resolution, same memory. Faster processor, dual-core A5. Front and back-facing cameras. We don't yet know the resolution of the back camera. Front camera is a VGA resolution. Back camera can shoot 720p video at 30 frames per second plus audio. That's good. 1/3 thinner, 0.34 inches. A little bit lighter. A new iOS to come out with it. iOS 4.3. Or is it 4.4?
4.3.
4.3.
Yep.
Which will have some new
Is the
features.
RAM more?
Same RAM. Well, we don't know. They never talk
Never
about
mentioned
RAM.
that.
Same storage, but not.
Same storage. We don't know if the RAM is more. You know, more RAM would help. It has only 256.
They just said the graphics processor was 9 times faster too. They didn't give us any details.
They never have, and they didn't mention the word ARM, even though we're pretty sure this is a Cortex A8. 10-hour battery life.
2 Apple stores in Austin, by the way, to choose from.
Right. So we will be, Lisa, you and I. You know what we'll do is, now when are you flying in?
I'm flying in Thursday night.
You'll be there
so I'll
already.
actually be there.
So why don't you go to the Apple store, be there, and I'll meet you there, and we'll all buy iPads.
Ooh.
It'd be exciting. It'd be a moment in television history.
I'll catch up as soon as I get there.
GarageBand, I believe, well, we know iMovie will be on all iOS 4.3 devices, including the iPhone. Because of the Retina display, which is very close in resolution to the iPad, I would expect that they will also do GarageBand.
Why wouldn't they?
Yeah, but we don't know. I don't.
You know what didn't come with the camera?
What didn't come?
A flash.
Interesting.
Apple doesn't do flash.
Don't mind that.
Yeah,
Apple
I
doesn't
don't.
do bad joke.
To be honest, it's not.
We don't like flashes.
Yeah.
No, the flash on the phone actually kind of annoys me because I forget that it's on
Me
or
too.
something. I just turned it off.
And then you have that delay.
Yeah.
The delay bugs me.
Yeah, me too.
I do use it, but
What are we hearing? Oh, this is the video?
It's a blue
With
cover.
iPad 2, we've made advances in both form and function.
how much is that? $40?
That is so
Yep,
significant
39.
and far-reaching.
Kills me.
They have it in leather now for 70.
I can't think of a product that has defined an entire category and has then been completely redesigned in such a short period of time.
I'm just blown away by what I've
Unless it
done.
were the
Amazing to think
iPhone.
that just a year ago, very few people had actually held an iPad in their hands. And now, with iPad in the hands of millions of consumers, it truly has become a blockbuster post-PC device.
Apple's really rolled out the promotional engine
iPad
on
2
this.
really builds on
I
the
mean, they
success
always
of the
do this,
original
but
iPad. It's a
two
third
self-congratulatory videos in one
15% lighter.
event.
It has an all-new dual-core A5 chip.
I don't know of any other company
Twice
that's
as
been able to
fast,
pull off
with up
2
to 9
self-congratulatory videos
In a
one
single event.
We built in a front-facing camera for FaceTime and photo booth, and a rear-facing camera that shoots HD
These
video.
videos are so well
And we've
lit.
been able to do all of this while still maintaining
Trying
up
to
10
make
hours
my
of
own
battery
like
life.
videos with
The
an
iPad
It's hard to do.
really
So
is.
hard.
You need a white box, a soft box to do it.
Yeah.
By reducing
We can do it in our
what
new
were
studio. We'll
essentially
help you.
3 surfaces to
Really?
2,
We can do exactly
we've
this
got
in the
rid
new
of the
studio.
lighting.
wall around the
Steve
perimeter
is
of
back
the
on stage now,
and
by the way.
eliminated the edge.
But I'm not
only
done
more
with Johnny Ive.
comfortable to hold, but with the breakthroughs we've made with unibody engineering, it's rigid, sturdy, and even more precise. While the back of the product is made of
All
durable
Steve's saying is that
aluminium,
this
we
is a
wanted to
giant
figure
leap
out a
forward
way
and it will
to
define the
protect
category
the
for years to
display
go.
without compromising the iPad's size and weight.
And we'll sell
So
you a
rather
cheap
than
replica cover
developing a
for
separate
5
case,
times what it cost us to make.
cover at the same time that we're
Imagine the
actually
profit.
designing the iPad.
We've built in
They're made
magnets.
to work together. It attaches
I bought my
magnetically,
iPad
aligns
for $3.
perfectly.
That's pretty cool. Wait a
Just
minute.
as easy to
It just snaps right on with a magnet.
If you've opened the cover, it immediately wakes
I
up.
don't like it
And when you
because
close
it
looks
doesn't.
like
I
a-
want it to wrap around, not just
You
be
can
on
also
It's like a
fold the
cheap
cover.
umbrella.
Oh, look at that. Oh, come on.
Watching a video
That's magical and revolutionary.
magnetical.
to help keep the
Magnetical.
There are 10 colors, 5 in polyurethane and 5
It's
in
a magic knit.
aniline dye.
I might get a red and line dye
constantly
leather
working to
cover for
refine and
$70.
I'm not buying that cover.
I'm
That's
Johnny
the
Ive,
stupidest thing I've ever
and
seen.
I'm made of money
and it's
now.
at the same time increasing its functionality.
Ace Detective Apple Store is up now. Your Apple Store is up now.
Brought FaceTime to the
Nice.
iPad.
It's not up for me. I kept trying to reload.
Video calling on the iPhone 4.
Maybe
was
it's
better.
certain servers.
The big iPad display really changes.
It's interesting.
FaceTime experience.
Maybe a little more compelling to
At this
have
size,
a big screen
everything
like
is
that
so
for
much
FaceTime.
clearer and more expressive. There's a rear-facing HD video camera, so you can share the
Aha,
movies you're seeing
FaceTime uses the rear
as
camera as
they're
well.
happening.
That's good. As it does on the iPhone, of course.
But FaceTime is just the beginning. We optimized the iOS to take
Steve
advantage
says,
of the A5.
I think we stand a
and
pretty
Cortex.
good chance of
And
being
we're
competitive in this
introducing
market.
new apps that really leverage
Dramatic understatement.
like photos.
He's talking about how the competitors are all focusing on speed and feeds, and he says that's not right. You have to go after the intuitive way you use it.
Right.
And that's,
He's exactly
that's
right on
just
that.
what Apple's been doing.
He's exactly right on
for a
that.
decade now.
In fact, it's almost surprising that they mentioned the speed of the A5 because
And when you're done,
this looks pretty good.
awesome.
This is the iMovie interface.
Display. GarageBand is an absolute blast.
That's Lisa right there playing her guitar right into her amp.
Instruments that are built in.
I wish I had more time
Here's the
for
white
this
one,
kind of
right?
things.
Yeah, I know.
All these people seem so relaxed.
Yeah.
Their lives are just
Yeah. That's because they're independently wealthy trust fund yuppies.
And they're given Ambien before every video.
Amazing.
I love how did you see how the string goes on that? That's cool.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool.
Just open it up, start tapping away.
Start
you're
tapping.
making music.
That's it.
Recently,
Like to
we
thank
added
everyone's
ways
families
to share
because
the
they support us and let us do what we love to do. Thanks for coming.
Share movies,
No one more thing.
No, one more
right
thing.
to your Apple TV. And now we're adding
Well, maybe the
video
cover.
mirroring.
We're going to go to our live view in just a moment. Andy Ihnatko will be emerging from that door. He'll be taking his iPad 2 test drive. Here's the first people going into the demo room. See the police officer?
Yeah.
He's there specifically to look for Leo Laporte and make sure that he and his minions do not enter the room.
That police officer will soon be chasing Andy Ihnatko as he runs out with an iPad 2, trying to escape.
The things you do every day, like surfing the web, sending email, and multitasking.
This is the promotional video they showed at the end
it's
of the
up to
event.
twice as fast.
You could see it on
But
the Apple
place we've made the biggest jump is with
website.
graphics.
Now you understand why we were
Performance
talking
that's
about
up to
nothing for so
9
long.
times faster. You'll really notice
He's
the
running
games.
over to the demo room right now.
And for the first time,
Look,
we built
everybody's
a
wearing Vans.
that gives you very
there's some
precise control in multiple dimensions, and it allows
Sarah
us
Lane,
to really
acting
measure
nonchalant,
the orientation
waiting for the
of
signal to
iPad.
run in and steal an iPad 2.
These new components and features add all kinds of possibilities when it comes to apps.
I like, I can
And
see the
even
white
though
is
we
kind of
boosted the performance,
kitcheny.
We haven't compromised
Good for the
on
kitchen.
The new iPad still gets a full 10 hours.
Is that the evil
And that's
assistant
a major
vampire from Being
achievement
Human?
in design.
Where, there?
With all that we've added to iPad 2, a thinner, lighter
Or
design,
that guy.
the amazing
No, not him.
dual-core A5 chip, front and rear cameras.
Everyone keeps
and
saying the
smart
store's
phone.
up, and the
This
store's not up
really
for me.
is a giant
Is it
leap
just me?
forward.
The white does look sterile, but that matches the white of the softbox that
Defined the
everybody's sitting in.
category. And I think that the iPad 2 will really define that category for years to come.
So let's go to the event is now ended at Yerba Buena Center. You could see the people are filing out of the event and going over to the demo room. We're hoping Andy Ihnatko will go to the demo room as well. And tell Andy I'll fire up my FaceTime if he wants to call on FaceTime, or he can call on Skype, either way.
Yeah.
There we go.
All right.
Hey, sir.
The announcement is over, and now we're sort of in the back of Yerba Buena. So the way that this works is everybody's filing out of the announcement area and then walking over to this next building over here, which is the demo area, the hands-on area. So everyone can play with this iPad 2, the black, the white, see the thinness, thinner than an iPhone 4. So that's pretty darn thin. A couple things that stood out to me about this announcement. I was following along on my iPad. I was watching the Engadget live blog, which was done very well, by the way. No iOS iPhone 5, which was sort of a pie in the sky hope that a few of us had that, might be the one more thing. There was no one more thing. Also, I noticed that 4.3 it only appears to apply to the GSM iPhone. Now, my timing is really impeccable because I just went out and got myself the Verizon CDMA iPhone 4 yesterday, not 24 hours ago, so I'm kind of annoyed about that, but we'll see what the details are on that. But my initial reaction is, however, the iPad 2 itself looks pretty great, doesn't it? White and black, thin, twice as fast, same price, same battery life, and Andy Ihnatko's here. Come over, Andy.
Hello.
Hi, Andy. No, you're not interrupting me. Are you kidding? No, okay, I'm just talking about this like a dork because I wasn't even inside. Well, how'd it feel in there?
It felt pretty good. The underlying message, not that the iPad 2 was a big revolutionary new update, but the big message from Steve Jobs was, you people, you think you're competing with the iPad? You were never competing with the iPad. You're not going to use a letter in our name in your products. They're obviously addressing all these Android tablets that are coming out. I think he just started punching right out of the box saying, about 5 minutes, about 65,000 apps for the iPad, and put up a little graphic about how many Android tablet apps, and 100. So the game is on.
Yeah, they didn't just hint at the competition. They had their logos up. They were calling them out by name.
Exactly. And even the iPad versions of GarageBand and iMovie, they're going to be great apps. It looks like they're fun to play with. They're going to be really extend what you can do with it. But they're also a really strong message of, show me one app that's even fractionally like this on a Google tablet, and then we'll talk.
Well, and $5 a pop. They're obviously very affordable. It kind of seems like it's Apple saying, listen, to everyone who said that this is a consumption device and not a creation device, think again.
Absolutely. And you definitely don't get that same sort of vibe when you take a look at the Motorola's demos for the Zoom, T-Mobile's demos for the HTC devices they have. They're trying to find a middle ground between a busy, productive executive device and a busy executive production device that can play music. This is another salvo saying, nope, buy it for your kids, buy it for your parents, buy it as a home computer, we're good.
So, what was the vibe in there when Steve got up on the stage? Everyone hoped he would arrive, but no one really knew until moments before.
Big cheers from pretty much the whole house. At these events, there's always a section that's VIPs and people from Apple. Then there's the media place, and you can always kind of suss it out not only by the seating, but also where the cheers are coming from any given moment. But when he stepped out, everybody was really, really happy to see him. And also, he looked like he was in fine fettle. I didn't see much difference between his performance this time than from any other Apple event in the past year and a half since he had his surgery. I admit that I was also looking to see, when he introduced the first video, is he going to go way off stage? But no, he was just right at the rings, took a sip of water, staying the whole way, and he was just as strong at the end of the event as at the start, and he was staying the whole way. So hopefully that's good news for his health.
So iPad 2 shipping March 11th, so that's next Friday. Same price points as the original iPad and same battery life, so they claim. What's the most exciting part of this announcement for you? A lot of it sounds pretty good.
Well, obviously, lighter's better, same battery. We always wanted improvements across the board, but I don't think any of us who are iPad users would want to give up anything, right. And we pretty much didn't. But there again, there was another table on the presentation where they threw a few punches, saying that we sell exactly one iPad that's more expensive than the Motorola Zoom and everything else, and Motorola can't seem to come anywhere close to selling something for $499. So obviously, it was really important to them that they didn't give up any ground. I think that if they had, with the announcement, when they released the new MacBooks last week, for instance, they reduced the battery life, but also mentioned that, by the way, we changed our test protocol. It really does have the same battery life, but we're being more honest. I tend to think that they would not have let anything honest. Without making anything up, I don't think they would have let anything say that our battery life has been reduced on the iPad. Because, again, they do not want to let any argument come in that there is any advantage to not getting an iPad if you're looking for a tablet computer.
Right, but the battery life, iPad users, for the most part, are pretty happy with them. I know when my iPad's fully charged, I'm good to go for a while. But the processing is now faster with the same battery life. So it's like, even though the battery life didn't change, it is better in a way.
Yeah, not only that they're promising twice the speed with the A5 processor, but also they're making a big deal about the new graphics chip that has 9 times, according to them, the performance, which maybe sort of like you kind of note the number and sort of move on. But then they gave the demo of FaceTime photo booth for
yes.
iPad, where they have if you've used it on the desktop, you know that they'll give you live previews of the effects you're about to choose. They had 9 live video windows simultaneously, each one having a different effect being processed in real time. We're not just talking about, oh, look, it's sepia, oh, look, it's purple. We're talking about face warping and pinching and zooming effects, all like full frame rate, absolutely not a single drop frame. And at that point, that's when I kind of took my hands off the keyboard and thought, man, this is one fast machine. If they can do that, not really just for anything important, but we just thought that it would be cool to see at 30 frames per second exactly what these stupid effects are going to look like. Yeah, these people are kind of proud of what they're doing.
Cool. So you're about to go into the demo area where you'll have some hands-on time, and I believe the plan is that you'll then FaceTime into MacBreak Weekly from the demo area?
I'm going to ask those people very nicely if it's okay for me to stream from there. If I can, then we'll be seeing some video, hopefully.
Cool. All right. Well, Andy, enjoy your time in there. And I'm jealous, but take a lot of pictures, report back.
Will do.
All right. See you later, Andy.
Andy Ihnatko, Sarah Lane at the event, and Andy's going to go in that room there and take a look at the new iPad. Let's recap, and then as soon as we can get a hold of Andy, Eileen, how is Andy going to contact us? Skype? Okay, well, I have both fired up, so he can just do whatever he does, and we'll pull it up when it comes. So, and they may say no. We may be able to get our live view cameras in there. If we can, we will. We have our camera, live view camera out there. Live view is that great technology, that backpack technology. Sarah's still talking, I think.
Dressed up even. Not wearing
I'm sorry, Sarah. Sarah's just kind of chatting away. There's Robert Scoble doing an interview with somebody from the media.
That's Revision 3.
Is that Revision 3? So our cameras are out there. Live view allows us to do that via 3G. So it breaks up a little bit, as you can see from time to time, but it's pretty amazing.
Pretty mellow. Haven't seen any of the usual suspects of the live bloggers, probably still wrapping up inside. But
Sarah will we'll keep an eye on Sarah. She'll grab somebody. One of the unfortunate limitations of the live view is because of stream latency, we aren't able to actually have a two-way conversation with her. But no, I would have given Revision 3 credit, Cypher Mag. I just didn't know it was them.
Yeah, he just did. I recognize Graham.
You know him because you work with him. Yeah. So once again, to recap, there is a new iPad, iPad 2. It will be available 5 p.m. Local time at your Apple Store on March 11th, a week from Friday.
Mm-hmm.
It will be the same price and the same storage, but we'll have some new features, including front and rear-facing cameras that can work at 720p, FaceTime camera on the front. It will be a lot thinner, about a third thinner. We'll also have white and black faces. New processor, dual-core A5, Apple's calling it. We believe it's based on the ARM Cortex-A9 processor. And they say 9 times faster graphics performance. We'll have to see on that. Same battery life. Anything else? Did I miss any other specs?
No, that's pretty much the meat of it. It starts at $499. Oh, it's a little bit lighter. It's 1.3 pounds instead of 1.5 pounds. And I guess the biggest nifty thing you'll be able to do with it is deliver video either through an HDMI cable at 1080p. That cable will cost you $39, or through the ability to stream through AirPlay your apps.
That was
to another
very
device.
interesting.
Yeah.
So the full-time mirroring video plus kind of two-way. You can use AirPlay to get to the TV from the iPhone and vice versa. So I think that's pretty cool. I'm just going to sit and watch Sarah and see if she snags anybody, and I'll keep an eye out for Andy. They did tell us we couldn't bring our cameras into the facility, so we won't be able to stream it via live view. Sarah Lane is out there with the live view. 4:3 aspect ratio, exactly the same screen resolution as before. UK Apple Store is cutting the price of its existing iPad Model 1, so maybe you will be able to get a deal on the Model 1. But why would you buy it if knowing that for the same price, it'd have to be considerably cut?
Yeah, no, they'd have to cut that. What's a shame is that they did so much promotion at Christmas for the iPad, and everyone, I bought my mom an iPad.
Yep.
Everyone bought everyone an iPad for Christmas, and now they're just like...
That's frustrating, isn't it?
That's the thing about an early year release is that by the holiday season, it's 9 months old, 8 months old.
I mean, it's still great. I mean, if I wasn't so into sort of the whole camera aspect, I mean, I still love this one, and I'm not giving up on you.
I'm not 100% certain that I need to abandon this one either. The cameras are very cool, and I love the idea that you can export through HDMI. I guess that's not going to be available on the old one, but I'm not 100% certain on that either.
Well, they are going to offer that 4.3 upgrade to everybody, but I have to think that's a hardware feature, not a software feature.
Oh, looks like we got Robert Scoble to talk to Sarah out there.
Sarah Lane is out in the field, and there's Robert's belly.
You look good. Are you like on a diet?
Yeah. Speaking of Robert's belly.
Because you're wearing a belt or something, so you just, I don't know.
Sarah's really sucking up at this
I'm
point.
live here with none other than Robert Scoble. Robert, how are you?
Hey, doing really well.
So, what's your, you're coming out, you just came out of the event. What's your vibe? What are your thoughts?
I like it, but it's not a revolutionary device. It's not the high-res screen that we were like, oh, is it that, 2,000 pixel screen coming? We know it's coming. I have sources who say they're working on one in China. It's just, is it coming this year? It's not coming in the next month or so.
But you knew that walking into this event that you wouldn't get them.
Yeah, and I like listening to Gruber's sources better than I like listening to some of the other rumors. He was pretty damn accurate.
Yeah.
2 cameras, a little bit faster, a little bit thinner, well, a lot thinner, a third thinner. Looks nice, but it's not a mind-blowing, new thing. It's not like iPad 1 came out. I'm like, wow, okay. The higher speed does look interesting. I really want to test it with my 5D and see if I can actually use it to edit video other than just an iPad video, but a real video, from a real camera like the ones you guys use. And if it can do that, that'll be interesting. But otherwise, it's just for the iPad generation.
I was following some of your commentary on Twitter, and you were like, "Ooh, iMovie, this could be really great because my videos go straight to YouTube." I mean, they've definitely improved the way that iMovie and GarageBand work. $5 a pop, pretty cool.
Now, and it shows where I think Apple's going next, which is, okay, we got the consumption thing down. You can play games, you can watch Netflix on it, you can, get your blogs and Twitter and all that stuff, Flipboard. It's great for that. Now let's take the Slate form factor into something that you can actually create content on. And it'll be interesting to see how they move into it. Clearly it's getting faster.
Yeah.
And so now is it up to that challenge?
What did you think of the new iPad cover? The original case, no one had anything too nice to say about it, but this cover is very intriguing. It's just the front, and it turns on and off from sleep as you open and close it.
I like it. The video that's up on Apple.com is really, really cool. It's a fun. It looks like a piece of plastic that just lays on the thing and snaps in with a little magnet. I don't know. I have to play with it to see if it really fits my lifestyle. I've been using different cases for different things, and I'm sure that'll be true on the iPad 2 as well.
So you had mentioned again in your tweet stream that what you were most blown away by was the way that Steve Jobs introduces features, products, and the way he keeps the audience riveted.
Well, it's not just riveted. I was thinking because everything he says on stage is quotable, and he doesn't stumble the way I just did. He is so clear on communication, and that's a gift that very few people. I interview lots of CEOs, and very few CEOs can. Every sentence they say can be a little tweet and can be pulled out and used to augment what they're saying. It's a real skill that I wish other CEOs had.
So you sound like it was a good presentation, good time, fun, but you're not blown away.
No, I don't think it was one of those, they didn't have a band at the end. They didn't have one more thing. The demos went a little long. The GarageBand video, demo was starting to get, oh man, this is going long. Even though it's cool, it's going long, which means they were stretching it out, trying to fill in some airspace. And that tells you that this wasn't a mind-blowing, revolutionary thing. This was just, we're updating the iPad, coming out with a thinner, faster, and cameras.
It did seem like the GarageBand demo, while cool, was a little curious. It was kind of like you don't have to have any skill in order to play the guitar, and is it kind of like a child babysitter type of an app?
When I was watching that, Apple does something that no other company really does. They show aspirational uses of these technologies. It's like, oh, if you buy an iPad, now you can do a little band thing, or you can hold your iPad up at the stars and look at the stars, or your kid can play, something and learn something. It's their marketing and their messaging is very aspirational. That's very different than most of the other PC kind of companies. I mean, Steve Jobs, when he shows a tablet, Steve Ballmer, when he shows a tablet or a computer, you don't get that aspirational kind of thing. Like, we're going to, bring you into a new world. We're going to expand what you can do with these kinds of things. And Jobs, to his credit, always does that, and does that in the stores, does that on the commercials, does that at press events. And that's pretty rare in this industry.
What did you think about some of the more obvious mudslinging against the competitors?
I think it's deserved. I mean, I have a Motorola Zoom in my backpack here. Has no apps. It has 16 apps, and it doesn't do anything like what they're showing on stage. You go down the line, banking app, it's on the iPad. Games, it's on the iPad. Clipboard, it's on the iPad. Rupert Murdoch's newest thing, it's on the iPad. On and on and on and on. It's on the iPad. It's not on the Android or on the HP touchpad, which I really like. I love that hardware. The team did a good job. Basically, they stole the team from Apple, right? The Palm did, and then HP bought Palm. And it's nice stuff, but no apps. No apps means no sale.
Well, you have a great device. Without all the development community, what do you report?
Yeah, and I'm interviewing a ton of developers for South by Southwest. I know you guys are going to be there, right? In force this year.
Saturday and Sunday we'll be streaming all over the place. I'm sure you'll be part of it at some point.
I don't, if I'm sober.
Crowd surfing, anybody?
No, I'm not doing it. No crowd surfing for Scoville. No, they dropped me.
That's what he says now.
They keep Leo up, not Scoville. But I'm interviewing a lot of developers, and they're all going iPhone, iPad. I'm playing with Yobongo that's coming out in the morning, iPhone. Ditto, which was invented by the guy who ran social at Google, iPhone, iPad, on and on. The developers are going iPhone, iPad first, then moving it to Android to get the scale, and then they look around and go, well, is there anything else left to do? Maybe next year. And that's going to be a real tough thing for HP and RIM. Well, RIM is trying to bet on Android apps. We'll see if they can really make those work. Because we know every time we see something run in a shim or on a virtual machine, it doesn't quite run the same as it does on the native hardware. And so RIM has a tough. I met with a RIM executive this morning. It's like, man, you guys have a tough road ahead of you.
What do you think about iOS 4.3 only being available on the GSM iPhone?
It's not on the...
It appears, nobody has said that explicitly, although, of course, they would gloss over it if that was true. But up on the slide, it said 4.3 GSM iPhone.
Well, I got both. That's a question I'll definitely ask when I get in there and do some demos. There were some other things. People wanted to know what slots are on the iPad and how that new HDMI controller, not controller, but dongle works. And got to get some demos to see all that stuff and also find out the real specs on the cameras and stuff like that.
All right, well, I'll let you get in there.
Yeah,
Robert Scoble, thanks so much for talking
Leo.
to Twit.
Yeah, thanks, Leo. See you at South by. I got
All
some
right.
barbecue.
Yeah, you bet.
Your order's in now.
Robert Scoble, the Scobalizer.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sarah Lane.
Isn't he great? He never stops. So we've got a few eyewitness accounts. Andy was pretty excited. Scoble, excited, but was looking for that one more thing that he didn't get. So you are up to date. Everything else is going to happen inside there. So we're going to go ahead and toss back to you folks. And the next you see from us will be hands-on demoing.
Thank you, Sarah Lane, out there at the Yerba Buena Center for the Arts. You're watching live coverage of Apple's, I think we can say it now, iPad 2 announcement.
Yep.
iPad 2.
There was no question about it. Tom Merritt is with me, as is Lisa Bettany from Mostly Lisa, and our newest show, Mostly Photo. By the way, a little program note. We are going to tape beta episode 2 today at 4 p.m. instead of Triangulation.
Exciting.
4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern at live.twit.tv. We have no idea what we're going to talk about.
Probably photography.
We'll find something.
Yes.
We'll find something to talk about, but that's a fun show. And we're currently just kind of workshopping it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. We're trying to get a feel of what the audience wants and how we can best sort of get this knowledge across to people.
So participate. Join in 4 p.m. And I'll show you my new Nokia N8, which
I love that we do that. We did that with frame rate, seemingly
It's
forever.
a great way to...
and we're doing it with the Android show, too, where we go on, we say, this is the kind of thing we talk about. What do you think? What do you like?
I really like how that's worked with the Android show. It's really developing as a show based on what the audience wants. And I'd love to do... you started it, and I'd like to do more of it. I think it's a great thing to do.
You should show your all the iPad tweets coming in.
Oh, man, it's nonstop. I've got TweetDeck up, and that far right... column is just a search for the word iPad.
He's not scrolling. That's just refreshing.
And the top one, notice the top one's not moving. That is one of those paid for tweets by Pro Studio app. They're trying to get people to buy some sort of recording Pro Studio app on the iPhone, on the iPad. But boy, look at those tweets come in. A lot of people talking about this so fast I can't even look at them. I can't even read them. But not a surprise. There's a lot to say here, and the Twittersphere, of course, would be very interested. We're hoping Andy can get a hold of us via Skype or FaceTime from the demo room where he's looking at it right now. If not, Eileen, why don't you tell them to head over to Samovar? Or are they able to use Samovar? Did we find out?
We're not quite sure yet.
Okay.
We make sure we wanted to know if you wanted Sarah to leave or not.
Yeah, she can head over to Samovar and get set up so that we can do MacBreak Weekly.
Okay, great. And Lynn and I are both trying to get Andy.
Good. And if we can't get Andy on, we will do MacBreak Weekly without him. If we can, we'll do it with him. But we'd like to get Andy over to Samovar.
Very excited about the $70 square of leather that has magnets in it.
That we're all going to buy, because I realized suddenly that all of our old cases are obsoleted because they block the camera.
I have a really great idea.
What?
Hole punch.
I was thinking I was thinking one of those little razor blade things, but a hole punch is much better.
Yeah,
That's perfect.
They could have like a special one that's the exact size.
Yeah.
With like a nice Apple logo on it.
I think it should be a camera plus hole punch. Why not? We have reports that while you cannot pre-order, apparently, which is very odd, the pre-ordering begins at the same time as you could go to a store and get at 5 p.m. on the 11th, on Friday the 11th. By the way, it's kind of a sad scene right now at Moscone Center, just that little
alone, abandoned
sad
coffee cup holder.
Piece of coffee cup, and all the hipsters there, and it's just
What does it
sitting
mean,
there. What does it mean? It feels like a scene out of American Beauty.
There's always this feeling after Apple events where people are they're sort of mulling around in their head and they're thinking about all the money they spent on all their and how obsolete everything they own
I
is.
need to get a new one. Well, that's why it's a shame they didn't give anybody an outlet to run to the Apple store or run to their computer and pre-order. You can't. However, you can get $100 off the old iPad.
Yeah.
I don't know if $100 is enough savings. I guess if you really wanted the old iPad, $399 for the Wi-Fi iPad, 16 gig. But if you waited, if you wait a week,
yeah, I know.
$499, you get the new one.
Yeah, I mean, $100 is a lot of money. So if you're not that worried about cameras, then that could push you into it. It'll allow them to get rid of their inventory. I'll put it that way.
We should say they haven't said when pre-orders, or have they?
They've said ordering begins March 11th, but they haven't said what time online ordering.
Nor have they said whether there would be a chance to pre-order.
They haven't. They imply that there's not. They say ordering begins March 11th, but that's all we know.
And why? What's your speculation on that?
Well, we were talking about that. I think they're trying to build up lines. They have a 5 p.m. start in the stores, so that gives you the ability to show up early in the morning without having to spend the night and line up. And the Verizon iPhone announcement was not a bust, but or the Verizon iPhone launch didn't have any lines.
I hear we did live coverage.
We did. Oh yeah, you were out then, but Sarah and I got up. Sarah went out there.
Oh.
It was pretty funny. Actually,
I feel bad
to see the absence of people. And it was actually really fun because we had people in the chat room sending us pictures like, here's the no lines in Long Island. Here's the no lines in Detroit.
Right. Oh, boy.
Yeah.
Well, there will be lines this time. I think there's no doubt about it.
Well, the fact that you can't pre-order. I think what I would like to see is the ability to reserve. Because that's my favorite way to do it, is to reserve, then show up at the store and know you're going to get it without having to line up.
Yeah, lines are not. No. Unless there's like a Disneyland ride.
Some people consider it a Disneyland ride, I suppose.
Yeah, I guess so.
Well, we're going to be flying to. I'm going to be flying to Austin. I don't know when you're going to Austin.
I'm on the plane with you.
So we're going to be flying to Austin at 5 p.m. on a week from Friday. But Lisa Bettany will already be in Austin.
I will be.
So we're going to send you to the Apple store in Austin.
Do you think they'll let you buy 3 iPads?
Isn't there just like a one limit?
I bought 2 iPhones last time.
Really?
Yeah, well, you bought one for me.
Yeah.
Maybe I could bring different disguises.
Yes.
It's you again, Lisa. We know.
Fake mustache.
You're not fooling us,
beret.
Lisa. Come on. All right, so I think we will have live coverage. We're going to have live views out there. We'll probably go to Austin, fly to Austin, and go straight to the Apple store and pick up our iPads.
I hope it's downtown.
It's not. There's one in South Austin. The Barton location is probably the closest.
There's not one near that great Mexican restaurant out there on Congress Avenue.
Sadly, no.
That's what I would like.
You're talking about Guero's?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love Guero's.
No
Austin has
Apple
some
store
good
there.
eats.
Yeah.
Some good barbecues.
Polvo's is one of my favorites.
Which one?
Polvo's.
Is there one near the Apple store?
It's not. It's also not.
Meanwhile, that piece of paper still sitting on the ground at Moscone Center, all alone now. There's just
abandoned, like the hopes and dreams of those who wanted a Retina display on the iPad.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you weren't going to get one.
That's a bummer.
You know what's interesting is that I think we were exactly right on.
We were almost dead on. Yeah. I didn't expect the white iPad. I thought that was
the only thing we missed.
That we missed that one.
But as we began the show, we were pretty sure about all of the things that we got.
But don't you find when you've been looking at your iPhone 4 for a while and then you go back to the iPad, you're like, resolution.
So yeah, a little bit. It's not as weird as when I went from the iPad back to the iPhone the first time and went, that's really small. But yeah, now that you have the Retina display, it does look a little dull.
It does. They need to fix that.
Life is so easy. What do you use for your blogging software?
WordPress.
We're going to get you moved over to all the stuff. WordPress is fine, but you know, we really killed me because Christmas Day, WordPress sets out an urgent security alert, and now suddenly I've got to spend Christmas Day updating my WordPress installation. What a pain.
Yeah, WordPress. I mean, I started on WordPress like so many moons ago,
right?
And
you're pretty attached to it by now.
It's not that. It's just the time. Like I hardly blog anymore, just because it takes so long to write a blog post. People have no idea how long it takes to format it. You know, you got to add padding and just do all this junk.
Dear, you need Squarespace. The iPad app makes it so easy it does it all for you. Squarespace.com. Okay, here's what you do. You can take your existing WordPress blog. They have an importer that will automatically suck the data right out of it. Movable type WordPress typepatter blogger, including all the links still work, all the photos, everything gets imported over, all the comments. But it's so easy to post because they have that great iPad app. That you can use that to moderate comments as well. It's just
What about my template? I have a nice, beautiful.
Did you have somebody do CSS for you?
Yes.
No problem. So here's what you do. You go to squarespace.com/MacBreak. And you click the try it for free button. So it's not going to cost you anything. It's very easy. You can play with it. You don't even need to give them a credit card or anything. Just the login, site name, password, email address, and the CAPTCHA. And then import your data. Now, they have great templates. I mean, they're famous for their templates, 60-plus designer templates. So maybe you could pick one that looks like it. But since you already have CSS, you just go down there, you paste your CSS in, and it's done. It looks exactly...
What kind of comments does it use? Does it use Discuss? Or
you can, yes, many people, it has its own commenting system, but it works with Discuss, and I've been using JSKit Echo, which I love.
What about spam bots? Did they get through?
They've got, no. You know, this is a modern
Because WordPress, I know. I get so much
I know.
spam.
WordPress gives you a kismet. No.
Yeah.
So much better. Social integration widgets so that, your Twitter and you want Flickr. Look how easy. See, that's the widget. You do a little slider there, choose the thing, and the same, but you get a slide stream. But they do have galleries and everything. This is just a widget. That's just a side widget.
Mashable runs on WordPress. Mashable.
Yeah, but they do the multiple WordPress, right? Yeah, it's time.
But they still do so much by hand. It's ridiculous.
Right. This is a modern content management system. And by the way, it's hosting plus the software for $12 a month. Squarespace.com. Try it free for 2 weeks. Get started in 30 seconds. No credit card, no commitment, just great stuff. And if you don't believe me, go to the examples and see all the great people who use Squarespace. Life is so easy in a Squarespace. Squarespace.com/MacBreak.
Yeah, I just came out of the demo room back there. I gave away my pass and everything, so unfortunately that's the point of no return. Really, you got to start fondling one of these iPads 2 to really get what the difference is. It really is the exact same iPad we've had for the past year, only better. When you thought that the last one was thin, this one was even better. You thought the last one was fast, this one was even faster. I really kept trying to trip up every application that was on there, but it always worked just great. So it's a really impressive day out there. Also, I mean, typical Apple, they can't even do a case without really just shouting out, "We're Apple, come on. We're going to make a case. Oh, we're going to make the case." So, yeah, you never seen such a sight in your life until you saw about 30, 40, 50 members of the press just like holding this piece of rubber over the iPad and dropping on and saying, "Hey, look, it clicks in like with magnets." And it actually senses itself. It finds the actual spot where it's going to connect and just simply locks in. You would also have seen me looking a little bit foolish because it was like a Warner Brothers cartoon where I bet that it's like opening the fridge door and trying to see if you can catch the light, like not turn on. Because if you just lift up the corner of that case a little bit, it turns on. So if you flick it open and close in half a second, and you shoot video of that, you will see the screen actually light up during that fraction of a second that the case was open. So it's a really, really impressive outing. Again, it's all about refinement and it's all about attention to detail. And once you put the iPad 2 next to the Zoom, next to the HTC upcoming 3D tablet, even next to the Playbook, which I like a lot because for a BlackBerry device, it's a very slim, slick iPad-like device. There's just no comparison. The iPad 2 is a modern computer. The others look like they're put together with animal bark and pieces of hide by comparison.
Oh, my God, it's the giant hand. It's back. And goodbye. Thank you, everybody, for joining us, and we'll see you next time on Twit Live. Bye-bye.